Oh, for agreed to 551 days if you.
Strengthenings? No way it's been that long.
Interlude? Yeah.
Oh, interludes. Yeah, we were almost at 2 years. November. I thought these were just strengthening. Didn't know they were interludes. Oh, that's nice. No ludes, just root. Also, why does the bot keep kicking your butt? It learned. We were just talking about AI. It's already dancing.
I just realized what happened.
Your bot took that personally, Cad.
That guy got upset real badly, huh?
Can't see your live stream, bro.
Sorry. No. So basically, what happened was the clan tag changed to some weird like ASCII text thing or whatever because someone reported my clan tag.
Hey, Dom?
They were mad at, I guess maybe because I killed them. I don't know, but
Be a Drake fan. Let's move on.
must be a Drake fan. So it's just not there anymore.
Put it back if it's inappropriate. If you were reported and they took it back.
Hmm.
That SNL skit. Bitches, I want to call out the. Oh, Kendrick Lamar, no.
Have fun.
Good evening. Welcome to Friday. You have survived another week. How's it going, guys? Okay, the tweet is live. Go give it some love. Do me that favor, chat. You guys know the engagement helps. Should we buy out Dust from the Pure Prism shop, seeing as this is one of the most used mats? I don't think there's any issue with it. I will say you technically get like the most bang for your buck with bronze mats, but also the least bang for your buck with bronze mats. That is to say, bronze usually end up costing, what is it, 1 pure prism, and then I think silver's 2, and then gold's 3. So in a weird way, that's the case. I would say, in all honesty, like the gold mats probably are the best, simply because they take the longest to farm. But it's up to you. If you just find that that's a resource that you actually need the most, by all means, go for it. Just keep in mind, it is hard to get more pure prisms overall. You basically only get them from new story chapters, and you're not going to be getting more at this point until LB7 at the end of the year. So. Really on Nikkei or Azure Lane when? I don't know about that. Jai did do a fantastic job with this piece, though. It's basically Mecha Musume. Okay, I got today's art, and we are good to go. Mr. Darty, they give it the 6-4. Knocking at your door. Over 5 years of support. I appreciate it, my man. Beat it. Okay. Hello, YouTube people. All right. Let's get this party started. Good evening, everybody. Here is today's art piece. Go give the artist some love. It is just a comfy, classy bunny. Wait, did Darty gift a sub as well and I missed it? Thank you guys for the follows as well while I was offline. I did respond to some people on the tweet that I had yesterday, but there were way too many, and I figured it wasn't really worth me interjecting my thought processes on everybody. We get pure prisms when they add the update. Oh, true, yeah. So we are going to get a little bit more here at Anniversary. But beyond that, yeah, it's basically just going to be essentially when you get more story is usually what you can look forward to. And again, the pure prism shop never resets. So in that regard, it just is what it is. Like I said, go for the materials that you think you need. I know for someone like me, like, the way I choose to approach it is basically that I just don't buy things from it most of the time. And whenever I do, it's usually like, hey, like with 6.5, we got new materials. If I feel that I have a pressing need for those new materials and I don't want to wait to have to like farm them out, usually where I spend my pure prisms. But honestly, on NA, I've barely even spent any, so. It's all good. Thank you for the lurk, I appreciate it. Yeah, exactly. Lost a few IQ points looking through some of the replies. Yeah, like I said, it's I understand people all have their opinions about FGO, where it stands and where it needs to go. But like the thing that looking through that I just am like astounded by is like it is pretty clear that some of the people responding to these things just do not actually play the game. And Echo, again, thank you for the prime. Welcome to the channel. Enjoy your new emotes. Chat, can we get some love for our newest sub? Thanks for the YouTube content. Discord's great too. Glad you're enjoying it. We are trying. I am, again, on the path to recovery post-tax season and trying to get my ducks in a row. Best to use them when you really need to get skills on a character. Yeah, like in a weird way, you could say that you shouldn't need to buy the dust right now because there's no pressing need for it. but maybe you feel like there is. So that's another thing to consider. Otherwise, again, there's nothing stopping you from kind of just sitting down and taking your time, so to speak, in order to grind out what you need. Let's go and finally interludes after 2.5 years. 1.5, but yes, it's been a long time. I believe the one that we have coming up, I think Prophet was saying in November this year is our last one. And now finally JP just got another round of interludes, so we at least have something to look forward to in that regard. It's interesting because it's like you can see I think some people would deny this, and that's like kind of where my tweet was yesterday, right? A little bit one of the things that tires me in the community is you feel like if you ever have a point to make that is negative towards FGO, that is to say that like, hey, maybe the devs haven't been doing a good job, you will get people that will defend it to the death. That is to say, people will gaslight you. They will pretend that that is not the case. They will pretend that like everything is perfectly fine. Don't you dare criticize the game. And the reality is, again, that the game is not perfect. The devs are not perfect. They make mistakes. And so it's important to kind of at least point out when that is happening. It's good. It's healthy for the game. And so again, like with one of these things, if you were to try and say like, oh, it's been 2 years basically since our last interlude, people would scream and shout you down. But you can look at the reaction towards, hey, we finally got a new batch of interludes, and people are, basically shouting from the rooftop. So it's really weird to see how people will celebrate the wins, but gaslight everyone into thinking that the losses are not happening, right? Like, and that's the only reason why I say that is because it's important to point out that, like, yes, it has been a long time since an animation update, an interlude, or again, any of these other systems that have kind of fallen by the wayside. And it's important to also denote that this did happen, chat. Like I said, I stand by this statement. Year 8 of FGO, like last year, basically, was the single worst year for FGO ever in the history of the game. And people will argue with me on that. They'll say it's not the case, but it's the truth. They simply did not run nearly as much stuff. They let so many of their systems drop and not keep up with it. I don't know what was going on behind the scenes. I don't know what they were doing that led to this, but it's not really our job to know that. It's their job to tell us that. So at the end of the day, again, like last year just freaking sucked. And you can kind of see it's sort of where a lot of the negativity right now on NA is going to start coming from, is going to be that we're entering that time period. We're entering the time period where the devs just sucked. They just dropped the ball so darn much. And again, we will come out the other side of it because it's looking like JP has. I'm not going to say like everything is perfect on JP, but at least JP appears to be getting back a little bit more to form. They're running stuff more as they should. They're picking back up the systems that they dropped, like reruns, like interludes, like animation updates. We don't know how often we're going to get them because they've just done it the one time, but at least they did it. So that's a good thing. So like, I believe it's also important to celebrate the wins so much as pointing out the losses. So again, it's a good thing that they've done this. I'm really happy to see it. Classic Stockholm syndrome. Yeah, I do think that is it to a degree, right? And understand, I believe that the reason people want to defend the game to the death is because they love it as much as they do, myself included, right? I'm just, oh God, yeah, that's not who I wanted to bring. Okay, hold this thought. This is gonna be spicy meatball. I'll be lucky if I can do this in 3. We don't have the third card, nor can we form a Mighty Chain, so pre-card there. It's important to still know how to card even without Mighty Chain. Just more turns. I'm thinking this will still be 3 turnable. Yeah, definitely be 3 turnable. In fact, probably the just 2 turn here. I want to think they care about the game. I mean, I'll state this, right? I believe that the FGO devs' job is to care about the game. So, regardless of what may or may not be the case, regardless of what they might be doing, you can at least rely on the fact that they care purely for job security reasons, right? Like, they usually, in most cases, don't want to have to switch jobs, pick up and move, and find somewhere else to work. And they themselves know that who pays the bills is going to be Aniplex, Sony, yada, yada, yada. So LaSingle knows that they have to kind of, at minimum, keep the lights on, right? So, yes, I do believe that the devs care about the game. Whether or not they care about the players is subject to debate. For me personally, I would say they do care about the players to a degree. I think they can't care about players that, like, basically don't interact with the game very much, right? And I think that's a fair assessment for anything in that regard. Like, it would be like saying, Cad, why don't you care about, like, this viewer that never comes to stream, never interacts with you, and just always, like, badmouths you? Well, why should I care about them, right? Like, they're just toxic at that point. So I think who they care about is they do care about the players. They do care about the fans of the game. And I think it's at least to the extent that they want to do right by them. But there's obviously mitigating factors. And this is something I talk about all the time. You guys know I'm a very empathetic person, IRL. I always try to put myself in the other person's shoes most of the time. And it serves me well for things like this, where I can, you know, even as a player, still look and think, how are the devs maybe thinking about things? What are maybe the challenges that they're facing that we're not necessarily cognizant of? And so that sort of thing does help me at least process that information. And I'm not sure that everyone bothers to go through that sort of thought process. But I think looking at that, you can see that usually it's not that they don't care. Usually they do, and it's probably just that there's other problems. There's things that are stopping them from doing what they want to do. And again, I will also say too that I think people maybe confuse the like aspect of caring with monetization, right? The devs certainly care about the game. The devs certainly care about you. But that doesn't mean they're not going to try to make money. It doesn't mean they're not in the business of making money. They absolutely are. And they're going to do what they think is fair. But what they think is fair and what you think is fair may not be the same thing. And that's, again, something I think that's key to understand. Because the devs are not going to try to screw you, but it doesn't mean that they might not accidentally do so, or maybe think that you would have been okay accepting something and then realize that you're not after the fact. So again, these sorts of things happen. $500 skins are very fair. No, listen. I'm saying this with the perspective of LaSingle after years of watching and observing their habits. I am not talking about Riot. Riot was 100% milking you. Straight up. Okay? Now, I'm going to say this. Does that mean every Riot dev is an evil asshole that's money grubbing? No. In fact, who decided the price point? Maybe the production staff. It may be the marketing staff. It may be, who knows, right? Like, the devs are just the people that keep the lights on and maintain the game. Like, so the dev is the person that made that bomb-ass Ari skin that everyone's like, oh my god, that looks sick. The dev is not the person that set the price point on that skin. So, that's kind of the issue. And I think that's an important thing to acknowledge and an important thing to know, is that, like, hey, yeah, it might be a lead dev, it might be somebody higher up the food chain in the development staff, but it's not the dude making the skin that's setting that price. He's probably getting told what the maybe not the price point, but maybe what the scope of the skin needs to be. Is this a simple skin, or is this a give me all the bells and whistles? Right? So like, I'm sure that's happening to a degree, and he kind of knows this is going to be a more elaborate, more expensive skin. But did he know it was going to be $500? No, probably not. Although they may have used terminology with him like, this will be our most prestigious skin to date. Right? Things like that are going to tell that artist, that modeler, basically, like, here's the level that I need to treat this with. The cheaper Ari skins are way hotter. I mean, I'm going to say this. I actually do like the look of the new skin, but I think it's because it reminds me of like Koyanskaya, right? But yeah, like, I think a taste factor is going to be in something like that, and I'm going to say that's neither here nor there with the point that I'm trying to make. Artists have it rough. Artists certainly have it rough, but trying to say that artists have it rougher maybe than the rest of the development staff, I don't agree with. I think devs in general have it rough. Like, just period. Their work often goes unappreciative. They work long hours. They work in a volatile industry where they can lose their job very quickly. I think you can make that statement for everybody. Do you think Year 8 was so slow because they were severely understaffed? That's my guess. I will say that's probably partly true. Like, I have very reason to believe that that's partly true. Is it the whole truth and nothing but the truth? I don't know. Right? I'll say this. It's entirely possible that, certain other factors may be playing in here. Perhaps the staff is short-staffed. Perhaps the staff is working on another game. Okay? Perhaps the staff is working on part 3. Perhaps the staff is working on a completely unrelated project. I don't know, right? Like, it could be any of these things or a combination of them. I can't tell you. I can only tell you what the end result is, right? So it's like, we can all conjecture why, but none of us really know because we're not the fly on the wall. And like I've said, you don't know until you hear from that anniversary interview every single year, which we're getting closer to every day. We're about 2 months away from it probably, because it'll probably be late July, early August. So we're getting closer, but it's one of those deals where, yeah, I think we've had to wait a long time. We've been waiting on certain things to happen, and I think I can, speak for those on the more discontented side when I say that, like, again, I think the fatigue of that is beginning to set in. We have been waiting for years for some of these fixes, so I understand why people are upset, and I think it's just a point where everyone has to come to grips with whether or not they're okay with waiting. Some people aren't. Some people are. And it just really depends. Kind of ironic they buff Constantine right now. Yeah, we'll talk about that. I have a good amount to say about those two buffs. So I just need to get my AP down a little bit here. I have a ton of the storm pods to do because I'd actually gone all the way up to 9 stacks here. This is probably going to be most of my AP today, but I know they're still working on extra encore. I assume Type Moon is. I would love to know how much of the staff for FGO is Lasengal versus Type Moon, and how much of the staff is Lasengal Type Moon, where they're both. Because that's interesting. Because I assume the extra remake is Type Moon, but who knows, right? Maybe there's some overlap there. Maybe people in Lasengal are Type Moon. Maybe vice versa. I don't know, right? So Studio BB should be a separate entity. Right. Should be. Should be. But it's difficult to say. We can't really know at this point. That I think, at least from what we know of Type Moon, it's very obvious that certain people in Type Moon wear many hats, right? So I can speak to that as a streamer. I know entirely what that's like, having to wear too many hats, right? And it definitely impacts your ability to work on any one given thing. How Tweedy? Thank you for the 10 months. Appreciate it. I heard Constantine's buff in particular has interesting property to it. Sure. Would a Studio BB had to borrow a single staff? It's possible, but would that be the reason year 8 was so bad? No, I don't think so. I would think if something like that were going on, it would be more of a factor of they're just kind of settling that like, hey, these people don't have as much to do, because technically, in a weird way, there is no pressure to get extra remake out. And I'm sure every fan in the chat of Extra Remake right now is screaming at the top of their lungs, what do you mean there's no pressure? I truly mean that there is no pressure and that you will wait regardless of how long it takes them. Like, no amount of screaming, gnashing, and wailing is going to make them produce that game faster. I'm not really the best person to ask if a buff is good or not. No, it's fine. Sui, thank you for the follow. Again, like I said, I'm basically trying to avoid talking about it until I'm actually in my lane to talk about it, if that makes any sense. Extra Remake will take another 10 years. I mean, I would assume it won't, but yeah, I will say at this point it's already taken quite a bit. I will say this. I think one of the things I grow tired of in video gaming, I'm not going to put Lasengal just squarely in the spotlight here on this, because they're not the only ones that are guilty of this. But I think one of the things that just I hate in gaming is, please stop announcing a project when you came up with the idea. Because there are so many projects that fail. There are so many projects that never see the light of day. Don't announce it purely because you had this idea and then debate everybody for, 5+ years as, it just never comes out. And then it makes everybody think, holy crap, how bad is this going to be that it took them this long? I think it's much better to announce games when they are a year out or less from being produced. Don't bother trying to raise the hype prior to that point. I don't think it's a good idea. I don't think it does you any favors. And I think it just builds the pressure on the individual devs and the studio themselves. So I understand that a lot of that is probably marketing teams and, shareholders and boards that are putting that pressure on people, but it is not good. I think it's best served to actually, I think the most ideal set of circumstances is announce the game like 3 months out or less, even like do it even a month out. If you announce it like that, then it makes everybody have this immediate like, ooh, right? Like as it starts to be a thing. Was Elder Scrolls 6 announced? Oh yeah, no, I mean, like, you can point to that. You can point to any number of things like, crap, chat, Cyberpunk. How long did we know Cyberpunk was in the work? Right? And look what happened. It became overhyped and its launch was disastrous. It is still regarded as the worst launch in gaming history at this point. And I don't think that's necessarily fair, but that is how a lot of people feel about it. And I don't blame them for feeling that way, given sort of the like buildup of it over the years and all the promises that got made on it. So again, like I said, I just don't think it's a good idea, especially because the media is going to sit there and they're going to try to get every scrap of info they can out of you from the moment you announce it. So you're just basically giving more time for people to build these unreasonable expectations for the game, and basically for the media to stroke that and instead take everything that you say, spin it and warp it and, take it out of context. So I don't think it's a good idea. I think it's better to just keep your project under wraps, announce it, and then let everyone be like, oh my God, I didn't see this coming. That's amazing. And you'll see as people have more realistic expectations for it, and they're actually pleasantly surprised by it. Shop reset in 12 minutes. Yep, make sure you guys do so. Which actually, that means shop already reset on JP. Or completely change the idea like the Division. Yeah. I don't think it's a good idea, right? Like it basically forces people to kind of go out on an island and say like, oh, well, like here's the answers that you're seeking, and they may not be ready to give those answers. So I think it's one of the dumbest things in all of gaming. I think it's usually done to placate the masses. It's done in a way to say like, well, they need something, right? We have to announce something. So like, let's go ahead and announce this project. And I'm like, no, you don't. I really feel like, if you aren't like coming out and announcing a bunch of stuff, people are just assuming that you're working on other things behind the scenes. You're certainly out of the news cycle. Your name isn't on everyone's lips, but that is not a bad thing when you are a creative studio designed to kind of make a high quality long-term project like that. Is the next Mana Prism C and NA good? Honestly, not really. Like, most of the ones that we're getting now are not that big of a deal. So, like, at this point, I'm going to tell you guys that, like, you can get them, certainly, but if you are having huge constraints on your Mana Prisms, it's better to go buy the original ones that are a lot better for you, rather than to try and get some of these newer ones that are just not that big of a deal. It might cost you a rare prism to bring it back to the shop eventually in the interim, but I don't think any of these newer ones are ones that you're ever going to be like, oh man, I regret not having this. And so I think that's kind of the problem that these newer ones are running into, is they're just not anything that the community actually feels like it needs. My 2.5% though, yeah, exactly. That is the point that I'm making there, is like, if you're missing the other ones, buy the other ones. They're far more valuable to you. I only got Chaldea lunchtime myself. The MP dailies have been a lifesaver. Yeah, I mean, I think getting like the 10% Cs are almost always valuable. I think getting the 5 and 15 Cs are almost always valuable. After that, it gets way more on a case-by-case basis, like straight up, okay? So for instance, there are a couple of like split CEs where like, for instance, let me see if I can find it. Grand Cavallo is one. What am I don't know what I'm filtering by at the moment. This is not the order that I'm used to seeing. There it is. Okay. The Grand Cavallo is really nice. It's 5% bond and 5% 5% bond and 5% Mystic Code experience. I use this all the time because inevitably I have like a new Mystic Code that's coming out that I need to get, but I also still just want bond. So it's a nice way of like killing two birds with one stone. There's also Detective Foams. It's 5% bond and 5% QP. That one's also good. But it's like, after those two, I really think it's on a case-by-case basis. This is basically like where it stops for me in terms of like, hey, you need to get these. After those, I don't think you need to get them nearly as much. Currently trying to get that C, but I have no Mana Prisms. Yeah, no, it's fine. And I that's why I say, like, I understand for most people, Mana Prisms are a huge commodity, and you need to be careful with how you spend them. Wanting a Lotto to drop by? Yeah. Who am I bonding right now? Or sorry, not bonding, foeing. Yeah, I think it's oh, nope. Why did that not get in there? There we go. There's probably more gold foes in my mailbox. Or not. Well, I guess we are in the middle of an event right now, so that's why it's lopsided. I was sitting there trying to think of, like, why is it this way? But that's probably why. Fairy Cup November, yeah. We don't have another Lotto for quite a while, which I'm happy for, but that's because I was suffering from major Lotto burnout with all the stuff we had. Like, and I did mean this, chat. Like, I hope everyone's kind of rested now again, but like pretty much from like September of last year through like Tesla Fest of this year was just a gauntlet if you were playing both servers. I mean, it was a gauntlet even if you're just playing one, but like that was just a ton of grind events over and over and over and over and over again. And I just don't think that that worked well for the game. Lotto going to be extra long because of blue apples. I've managed to basically do entire lottos on JP with just my blue apples now. So yeah, it's a thing. And like, I'm someone that does 500 boxes in a lotto. So yeah, no, I'm not going to deny the fact that like, yeah, we were actually able to hoard that much. And for reference, my JP account, let me actually see if I can switch back to it real fast before it logs me. So my JP account still has a ton of blue apples. JP can give another lotto. I'm still not running out, chat. You can see, here's how far ahead on refills I am. Because I don't waste my AP. So I'm getting to the point of reaching this sort of like odd perpetuity where like as long as I don't run out of seedlings, I will continue to not ever have to like I'll be able to hit that 500 boxes and just kind of stop and not have to worry about running out of refills, which means in a weird way I could start becoming wasteful with my AP. But it's a weird thing. But that's why like I've said it before, like blue apples were like they're a good idea, but they were a mistake. They were a mistake with how they were implemented because it is way too player friendly. It's absolutely our benefit. So like when I say it's a mistake, I don't mean from the player side. I mean from the dev side. They fucked up. They made it way too generous for us because there is no cap. There is no limit to how much we can make other than the seedlings themselves. And there are way too many seedlings available on a day-to-day basis. So. You could farm Fairy Cup with just Fuyuki. Yeah, usually lottos, it's like again, the way most events are working now, not always. I think like for instance, Akendon, I think the access to the event requires LB3. But on JP now, the way most events are operating is you can still do the event. You just might not be able to like get the story or get the welfare or do the CQ if you haven't unlocked it. So like there may be some issues with it, but you can still participate and grab the event rewards because I think the devs heard like, oh yeah, this is actually kind of an issue where newer players, because events are locked way deep into the story, just can't participate in events. And I think they realized like that was a stupid idea. So I do like the way that they're handling that now. I think they need to do that all the time, and I think it's a good thing. In the same way that I think their half-cost storm pod nodes during events needs to become a permanent feature. And it may be now. I don't know. They just haven't made any announcement on it as far as I've heard, so... They really need a person to probably read their to proofread their ideas. Yeah, there are some things where, like, again, I don't know why the decisions were made that they were, but it is an interesting thing to me nonetheless. Like, I cannot tell you why they've decided to do certain things. Also, chat, be aware, you know you have Hakenden coming. Do what you need to do. Finish up your main interlude free quests. Do your interludes and strengthenings if you have any. Or your advanced quests, you name it, right? So, like, I still have a couple of these. Ironically enough, none of them are really required for me. But of them, probably the chief most important one is right here. It's Sumanai's. Sumanai's buff's actually really good. So, like, and I know I will occasionally use Sumanai because he's an easy cheese for certain nodes. You know what? No, screw it. We'll just go ahead and not have to change the comp. Because again, I am somewhat bonding Maid Alter here in the back line. She's close to that. And once she gets bond 11 there, I'm Gucci and I will be able to basically finish her to 120 if I need. And again, there you guys go. You guys can see I straight up have Grand Cavallo in my comp right now. So. $143K, whoa. For what? I have Hoku's interlude left to do. It's been there for a while now. Reading it surely will act as a catalyst for my roles. Surely. Surely. Yes. Yes, I hope so, F. Select trial is free on the Mana Prism shop if you want a ticket and haven't done it. Yeah. There's some stuff that you can just now, like, after a time, I do recommend going back into the Rare Prism shop and just checking because some of that stuff's free. But don't worry, chat. We're going to have plenty of downtime this year. Like, the fact that the devs have fast-tracked everything so far leads me to believe that there is going to be definitely a nice, like, solid 2-week period of like, hey, you gotta, like, here's a campaign, and like they're not gonna have like that much to do otherwise. So we'll see. I don't know when that'll occur. I just know that like they're eventually going to have to like rectify this miniature speed up that they've done. I wish they made some Mystic Codes free. That would be really nice. In a weird way, though, if they make everything from the Rare Prism shop free, I do wonder why the hell even bother to have it, right? Like, so I'm okay with them, like, making Rare Prisms less of a pain for more free-to-play players, but, like, I legitimately don't know what their overall strategy is. I feel like they should just have a way of getting Rare Prisms for less free-to-play players. And they kind of do with the leveling up of welfares, but if you're a newer player, you don't have all these welfares to level up. Even for someone that starts like right now on JP, you still got to go through like building up the leaves in order to have enough for the Evocation Festival. So it's still not a like one-to-one immediate thing that's going to get done. They could gate some Mystic Codes with just story. I mean, low-key, that's what they did with Neo Plug Suit. And honestly, I don't think that's a bad idea. Like, and I've seen people before be like, and it's bullshit, I deserve it, I should be able to have it, kid. And I'm like, you're right. But you're wrong. Like you should be able to have it when you catch up on the story. I think the thing that I do resonate with the devs on and understand why they have this stance is people need to get caught up on story. I'm not talking about the newest player. I'm talking about like the people that have been playing for years and are still chapters behind. And I'm like, that's not like the devs' fault. That's not anyone else's fault other than the person's own laziness. straight up. So it's like, yeah, no, I don't mind them putting more rewards behind that they can't get. You want it? Do it. There you go. They need to incentivize people to catch up. Yeah, exactly. And I think that's a good way to do it, is to put actual tangible rewards there. Things that affect your account. And that's, to a degree, that's what storm pods are. Storm pods are better farm nodes. And I think that's a good thing. FGO devs play the story, motherfucker, pretty much. My friends decided not to progress the story because of how long it takes to read one singularity. After 2 years, he's on like Orleans. I would tell him, like, so the story in FGO is really good. I would also tell him, if the story is the make or break thing for him, skip it. Right? If it's literally the difference between you playing the game and not, and you just hate story, skip it. I don't see any harm in that. Like, should people do story? Yes. Should people read the story in FGO because it's really good? Yes. But if you're someone that just doesn't care and doesn't like it, and it's like literally the difference between you playing the game or not, then don't, right? That's a personal issue at that point. So I disagree with that, Mish. And here's why. I think calling FGO nothing more than a visual novel is basically derogatory at this point to the gameplay. This is what I mean when I say that, like, the community does itself no favors. When we discount the gameplay, when we discount the early story and say that it's bad, when we basically act like FGO's combat systems are this like bad old thing that's like super dated and like isn't a good thing, we don't encourage anyone to like the game. Straight up. That's what I'm saying. Like in a weird way, like I can sit here and I can say something like negative about the game and people will jump all over me. But also on the flip side, I'm telling people not to necessarily jump all over it, but maybe to correct your thinking a little bit, right? Like to sit there and think about, like, is this just a glorified visual novel? If it were, why are you gotching? Think about that in all seriousness. Like, if you're just here to read the story, that's actually pretty easy to do, and you don't even have to play the game. So there is a game underneath that visual novel. I'm not going to say that FGO isn't a visual novel and that it doesn't have that, but I'm going to say that when we reduce it to just that, then we're not doing ourselves any favors. If that makes any sense, right? People give FGO's gameplay too much shit. Oh, yeah, and let me go ahead and tell you why. The people that give FGO's gameplay too much shit are bad. There you go. I said it. They're bad. Straight up. They can't cut it. And they know it. And they're going to sit there and they're going to complain and they're going to point out why it's bad. And they're going to keep being wrong every time because they're just going to keep revealing how little they actually know about the game. Every freaking time I see that. Every single time someone's like, oh, the gameplay is so bad. I'm like, the more I talk with the person, the more it reveals like just how uninformed they are. And it's really funny because, like, I don't want to sit there and tell someone they're bad to their face, but that does kind of need to be said. That being said, I think you can still criticize the gameplay. I think you can say, like, hey, I don't like the way they handle X or Y. But when you make a blanket, like, wide statement trying to cover everything and just say, like, oh, the gameplay's bad, I'm like, no, you just don't know what you're talking about. Because again, I'm going to say this too. if somebody really didn't like the gameplay of FGO, the same concept pops up of why are they playing the game? Why do you play a game you don't like, if that's the case? And then you start finding out that maybe they either have ulterior motives or maybe they're like kind of tricking themselves to a degree, right? Let's use Evade ASAP. Oh no, listen, chat. Okay, let me go ahead and say this too. Is Khadroth the best FGO player out there? I want chat to answer this question for me. Go ahead, put me on blast. Am I the best FGO player you've ever seen? No. Top 5 easy. I don't know that sort of statement would even be true. But maybe amongst content creators, maybe? I might give you that, but like, here's why I'm saying this. Do I think I'm the best FGO player ever? No, I don't. Do I fuck up and make mistakes? Yes, I do. I do it all the damn time. I am a fucking papega, especially when it comes to doing it live on stream. If I do it off stream, I actually give it my full attention and I rarely ever fuck up. But the minute I'm on stream and I'm talking with chat and I'm trying to make a point and I'm pressing buttons on the screen, not paying attention, I fuck up all the time. Okay? So like, it straight up is a thing. So I'm not gonna like get on to someone for making a boneheaded mistake, because we all do. What do I mean when I say they're bad? I mean, like, they straight up don't understand the systems. They can't comprehend general strategy. Okay? Like, they don't like it because they don't like turn-based stuff. That's it. It's not that, like, oh man, they suddenly managed to make a mistake one time and they disliked it. Usually that's not the case. It's they have a preconceived bias against it. It's they're bad at these types of systems overall. Not, hey, I fucked up once. Right? That's what I'm meaning when I say that. Streamer rule ABC always blame chat. No. So when I say that like it's because of chat, I mean it's because like I'm over here like reading chat. So I'm not looking at like this or like literally like the charge bar and stuff like that, right? Like so that's why. It's not that like, oh, chat dared speak in my chat and therefore I am distracted. No, it's more like me trying to be good streamer man is reading chat and then went, oh shit, I didn't pay attention to that. So it's just on me, right? Like, I will take full blame for that. Unless chat told me something and I went with it. Then it's chat's fault. But other than that. Cat's distracted by all of Avalon's spreadsheets. I will tell you guys flat out, and I never want to throw Avalon under the bus for this sort of thing, because I know I'm always grateful for his help, right? And Avalon knows it too. Like, one of the hardest things for me is when I'm sitting there reading Avalon's spreadsheet, and like, I know, like I looked it over, but maybe I didn't catch something beforehand. And right in the moment, I get to talking about something, and I know, like, it's wrong. Because like Avalon didn't catch it, I didn't catch it, and I know it's wrong right there in that moment. That's so hard because immediately my brain is like, like, because I don't know how to handle that, right? Like, so that is one of the hardest things overall, and thankfully that does not happen often. But it gets very difficult when I realize I have stuck my foot in my mouth, right? I complain about bosses screwing me over sometimes, but I'm glad they're there. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. It's like, it's not about like people criticizing the systems and the way that they work. I'm talking about the people that just go, FGO sucks because the gameplay is dated and bad. Those are the types of people that it's just smooth brain mentality there. They don't want to ever try to engage with it because they're convinced from some preconceived notion that it just is terrible, that they will never like it, right? So they've never gave the game a fair chance. And sometimes the game just straight cheats. The game never cheats. It always operates within its own system of rules. Whether or not I feel like the game cheats on my own, though. Yeah, the game definitely does some fucked up shit. Like stuff that it's just an asshole for doing that. For instance, oh, you broke the bar and it instant charged. And you're like, at this point, though, I think we can say it's like a fool me once, fool me 2,349 times type situation. So the game doesn't cheat, it just surprises. Yes. Okay, so we got him done. Let's see, who do I want here? BB, isn't this the buff to her crit skill? Oh, wait, no. Wait, is this summer BB or normal BB? Regular. What was the regular one? The extra attack buff? Okay. I don't know. We're just gonna go down the list. I don't care. we're just gonna go down the list and do them. It's not gonna be the end of the world. Especially not when I'm not changing my comp. Basically, I don't have any pressing need to do any of these remaining ones, so they're just getting done. Certainly, I know we're going to get more strengthenings at anniversary anyways, so it's like, at this point, I may as well just go ahead and do them, because they haven't really given us half cost on any of this stuff. Because I'll just, by the time we actually get a half cost campaign, have so many of them built up, I won't even be able to do them all. CAD Road to 7 has free interludes in the tab. I think I only have one in there. I haven't seen what it is, but I think it's... I don't even think it's the Road to 7 ones. I think it's... who is it? I think it's Percival is whose interlude is in there. But I'll double check. Actually, no, wait. I think I did the Percival one, so I don't know. You can loop lip now with the buff. True. Yeah, as long as you have even 10% charge, you can. They say gameplay is bad, then play 4 other gachas on auto mode only. Yeah, I know. I like it's rich to me, right? It's hypocritical, and I think a lot of people don't realize how hypocritical they get with that sort of stuff. But again, I always try to keep in mind, usually the people that are talking with me about this stuff, or at least that I'm reading their comments on, are usually more younger and more immature and don't really realize half the shit that they're saying. They're not really trying to think too much on it, and they just are flapping their gums and you know, firing off the hip. Why is auto so important anyways? Because without auto mode, you would not be able to feed your gacha addiction. It's true. Basically, without auto mode, you can't play other gachas, and that's the big reason why everyone gets so upset about it. So we're coming up on that week. Coming up on it, what week will you discuss the GSSR? The day that the GSSR comes out. I do want to say, I will probably go over it prior to that, but like, it'll be during Hikenden is where this sort of stuff is going to happen. Sorry if you've been asked this a lot, but I did come in late. But what's your take on the Constantine and Don's upgrade? Oh, don't worry, we're still going to go over it. So yeah, it's all good. You'll discuss it while rolling as GSSR. No, like, so part of the reason that, like, I get people that ask me all the time what I'm going to roll, I'll discuss the GSSR prior to that point. But, like, people always ask me what I'm going to roll, and I'm like, I don't know. I literally sit down, like, the day of and figure it out right as I'm going to press the roll button. Because, one, it does not impact my roll plans. Two, there is nothing I can do about it. Almost every single time the, like, allotments of characters, it's literally a pick your poison for, you know, how many USO opportunities do I want? And it's like, it's very difficult for someone like me that sits there and runs around with a lot of NP5s to try and actually pick a GSSR. It doesn't mean there isn't one I can't pick, but it does mean it frequently results in a USO for me. Which Saberface is Cad going for an extra copy of this time? Oh, you know me too well, Chad. I've debated you too many times at this point. I mean, you will note, like, I don't really roll for the 6th copy, but to me, spinning a GSSR on it is not nearly as bad. But that still assumes that I get it. And a lot of the times I'll probably only go for it if it's, like, beneficial to me to do so. Farts? I see. That's I agree. Is the writer one? Yeah. Okay, gonna make a chart for GSSR rolling the week before it. No, I'll just probably go over it with you guys and talk about my thoughts of, like, if you have none of these units, here's the good picks, right? Because, like, this is also a difficult thing, and it's way more of a individual per account type of basis. My 5th try to get NP2 Squirtle. You should definitely do that. And the reason why I say that is, trust me, bro. I feel like this is your moment. Finally. Gotcha going all in. See, there you go. Unbiased opinion. I mean, is it unbiased when I'm just encouraging Avalon to go with his aforementioned stance? I'm just being a good friend. That's all. I'm also biased. I like Arturia. I see. Bunny is on pre-any banner. Yeah, we thankfully, I think it's this year, isn't it, that we get a bunch of the summer units coming back finally, which is nice. Like, prior to this banner, I think that was upcoming, if you guys would note, like, they had not done a whole lot of, like, returning summer units in a while. We do occasionally get, like, a couple of them paired together, but it is nice that, like, at least as of, like, this point onward, we finally had caught on to, like, holy shit, maybe they are trying to run, like, every single SSR in a year. And that does appear to have been the case, so I don't know where we're at on the current year on JP in terms of that, because we have had just a ton of banners this year on JP. So I gotta feel like they're trying to do it again, but I just honestly don't know. Oh boy, Gorgon! Look at that saucy charge. Oh, delicious. I should have popped more buffs. I haven't kept track of the banners for JP, but still no Yang or Summer Marie banner. Yeah. Yeah, I know Yang is the big one that we're waiting on right now. Well, assuming we get, like, Tiamat and Draco. Which I think is a foregone conclusion. I think we absolutely will get those. There we go, chat. Finally, AP done on both servers. So I will go back to JP here just for a minute because, again, if I spend any more time on any server, it's going to be on JP for right now. But let's go ahead and let's talk about the strengthenings. Okay. So, recollection? No, it's just the tab I had open. Sorry, I said strengthenings. It's interludes. I'm so used to saying strengthenings because it's been a year and a half since our last interlude, which is definitely nice. I did see, and I don't remember who all got the interludes. It doesn't look like fandom has it, but it was at least... okay, hold on. I should say here. So we got... wait, was it just these two? I thought there were, like, several units that got the interludes. Okay, that's weird. I know these were the only two buffs, but I thought multiple other units got interludes, because normally they do, like, 5 units. That's really sad if it's just the two. Anyways. Let's... take me to Constantine. Take me to DQ. There we go. Okay, we'll go ahead and start out with DQ. Mr. CZ, thank you for the 41, and also hello. Sorry, I did see you come in earlier, but I got distracted. And then Summer 8 will have their summer versions. I don't think that'll be the case. I think it's still too soon for something like that. But anyways, you guys know, I saw a lot of people as you guys were coming in, they were like, man, it is ironic that we are getting upgrades for these units now. And I agree with you. I think this is really stupid. Why? Because I think had these upgrades come out sooner, they would have realized that, hey, all of a sudden, banner performance on an A is a lot better. I think that may actually low-key be the catalyst here. That they decided to actually give both of these units a strengthening. And, you know, again, maybe it just has to do with they felt it was time to give 6.5 its due. But, like, it may have actually been that they know the units performed okay on JP, but that by the time it rolled all the way around to quote-unquote global 2 years later, that I'm going to be real with y'all, chat. I don't think these banners performed well at all. Like, I do think the Bryn and Charlie banner performed well, but I think the Moriarty and DQ banner did not. I don't think the Constantine banner did either. And I think they realized, like, yeah, maybe we should give them an upgrade. Like, maybe they're not that good. Because again, I did the servant analysis for each of these recently. I'm not going to remake it. I'm not going to try to do it. I certainly wish that I had this knowledge in hand, but it's very interesting to look at each of these buffs now with the lens of what I said on the review. As I went through each one of these units and talked about what their kits were, what I did not like about those kits, and what I would like to see improved, it's pretty interesting to see that this is pretty close to what I wanted. Not entirely. So with Don Quixote, we end up getting a buff basically to his third skill. Now you can see DQ, this is sort of his claim to fame, is this third skill. It is his ability to transfer charge to the rest of the party. It originally required 30% gauge, and it would drain him to 0 no matter how much you had. So you couldn't use it unless you had 30%, but even if you had something like 100% and you pop that skill, it's gone. He has nothing. So it does not matter basically how much he has. It will reduce him to 0. this is an interesting issue. Now, they kind of come back and they say, hey, look, let's make it where it can still only be used, but it no longer has the demerit of draining him. Why? Because it was fucking stupid. That's why. We have a similar type of skill, but it's almost inverted with Melt Lancer. Melt Lancer drains everybody else to give her charge, whereas DQ drains himself to give everybody else charge. So it is an interesting application. I don't think it's a bad idea, but my issues with this is basically how it impacts Don Quixote's usage as a unit. Can you use Don Quixote effectively? Yes. What does it require? Inefficiency. What do I mean by that? I mean that in order to utilize Don Quixote as a sort of battery type of unit, you fundamentally need to start him with charge. And then you start to ask yourself, why then do I bring Don Quixote to the node? And there may be some factors that would come in there that would apply. Maybe you just know you need that 30% charge on whoever the other unit is that's trying to mop up the node. Maybe there's a single enemy wave that is a giant, or now in this case, since he got it, a super large enemy. So now he has both the giant and super large power mods here. Sorry, this is a power mod. This is super effective. So with that in mind, maybe that's why you're bringing him. But the reality is that there's not really that reason to bring him over, heck, just another unit in most cases. Like, there are plenty of units that can provide 30% charge to whoever that other unit is that's trying to be the solo carry in the node. So it really does almost have to be that single enemy type of scenario. So in that, with that in mind, we now know what the parameter was. Prior to this buff, that parameter was that you needed the ability to be able to have enough charge here in order to transfer charge, but that you kind of were going to lose the charge after you press this. So that means taking out the single enemy wave. So let's say you have a node that's like 3-1-2 makeup, and you have an AoE that's going to handle the first and the third wave. Don Quixote is going to handle that middle wave. How do you do that? How do you have Don Quixote take out that single enemy? And still give 30% charge to someone else? So this is the really weird problem with Don Quixote. Because his refund sucks. His refund is like 10%. It is not good. Okay? Even by conventional standards, we are lucky, really, if we get to this. Now, he does have NP gauge per turn every turn, but it's also only 10%. So allow me, when I say this, that this buff kind of can't be everything for Don Quixote. He does low-key need this also upgraded. But the point that I'm trying to make here in this scenario is that you're often just caught between inefficient solutions. So if you're trying to have Don Quixote handle that single enemy in the middle, he really can't, because he would need enough buffs in order to be able to transfer the charge after he refunded. And he's not going to get back to that 30% naturally without carding, which you're not going to probably do if you need to actually kill. So are we taking a Don Quixote that we know is going to low roll in the hopes of carding? Well, now we're super RNG. Are we going to try to put buffs on Don Quixote in order to refund enough? Well, now your AoE's not doing enough damage. are we going to not use Don Quixote's NP at all? That's possible. In fact, that's the most likely solution of use for Don Quixote, is as nothing more than a battery, just a charge bot that you can throw in there for the rest of the party. And it's really weird to me that this was implemented the way that it was. It told me that the devs didn't really know what they were doing, or again, that maybe they could see into the future and saw what was to come and were prepping us for some sort of change to the quick system that would allow for, like multi-damage dealer setups and splitting and divvying up charge. 2 years later, we still don't have that. So that's not the case in the slightest. So it tells me that the devs did not know what they were doing originally and didn't look at it. So something that in the past I might have looked at that and thought, hey, maybe they have some sort of intelligent design that we can't see. Now it does not appear to be the case 2 years later. It appears as if they just were kind of off their rockers. Okay? So they end up and they come back and they give him a buff. And that buff means he no longer drains himself. Well, for starters, this is good, but think about that scenario that I just talked about. Why are we taking Don Quixote to the node? And this is a really weird thing, because this still doesn't resolve that. We do help one of Don Quixote's other issues here, and that is his damage. Don Quixote's damage was not good. At least it was not good enough to warrant the way that his kit was designed, the way that this skill worked. Okay? They did end up buffing the crit stars here as well. So they get rid of a demerit, they give him a new power mod of 30%, and they basically widen the niche as well with that. And then they give him this 30 crit star bomb, where before it was 20. So it's not, a crazy buff, but it is a good buff. So I'm not going to say this buff is not a good buff. It is. But it's almost like it's a piece of the puzzle, because it doesn't solve his issues. That's why I'm going to say it kind of is a problem in that regard. Don Quixote doesn't have that ability to refund back. So one, it means that if I want to try and run Don Quixote as the devoted damage dealer, maybe in like a 1-1-1 type of scenario, one, his damage is not the best unless I'm hitting those niches, which are thankfully now better. But two, his refund still kind of sucks. And we're probably just not going to be able to pop the third skill unless we get this buff. Now that we have it, now we could use this and it won't drain him. So this could be used to at least allow somebody else to get up. But at that point, you're more looking at like I don't know, maybe it's a like 2-1-1 or like 1-2-1 type of scenario. This is the only scenario now post buff that I can really see you using Don Quixote in. A scenario in which Don Quixote has all the buffs to take out the first and third waves, and you don't really need a lot of health and damage to handle that second wave. So Don Quixote is just sort of charging that other unit up for maybe a 50% CE or something like that. That could work. That is, to me now, post-buff, the only real solution that I see him being used for. And it's kind of odd, because again, I think there are still numerous other reasons to take another Lancer in that scenario. There are numerous other reasons to, if he's just going to be the charge bot, take somebody else other than him. Somebody that isn't as selfish, because at the end of the day, Don Quixote charges the party except himself here, but nothing else in his kit does anything for the party. So it's kind of a problem in that regard. I can say at least his NP increases the party's critical damage by 20%, but it is what it is. And he's also got the 20% attack buff on NP. So they are incentivizing you to use that NP. And that's why, like, to me, I don't really see it yet. I do think if we can get to a scenario where, without putting Scotty buffs and stuff on Don Quixote, that we can get him to being able to having 30% so that he can then on the back end do it, we maybe have a solution. And where that might be the case is with the 10% charge with 20% overflow from someone else. So this might be a Don Quixote in peace. He gets 10% back, and then we work in an Oberon. That might be his best case scenario. So I think he can work in these sort of like hanging door type of comps where basically you've got 2 damage dealers and maybe you're like plug suiting in 2 supports. But I don't know that you're going to have enough refund on that other unit for that to work. You might not. But again, all I'm trying to say here is that this buff helps. This buff is a part of the solution, but it is not the whole solution for Don Quixote. So it is a good buff for him. It will make him a little bit more usable. It will not solve his issues entirely. He will not be the like end all be all Lancer, nor will he ever be, even if he probably does get a buff to other skills. But this is at least a step in the right direction. So I'm okay with it. It's a good buff in and of itself, but I maybe would have liked to have seen more of a focus on his actual refund, because that would help his usefulness so much more. So it's an interesting buff in that regard. Now, let's go ahead and let's talk about Constantine. Oh boy. So, y'all know, Constantine has not had a very good reputation other than being a pretty boy. Like, he's somebody that you could use him. He wasn't unusable. He wasn't bad. He wasn't trash. But in a weird way, sort of like how Don Quixote has this generous party distribution of charge, and then like outside of his MP has nothing else to bring to the table. Constantine's also sort of designed weird. And what do I mean by that? Well, let's quickly look over his kit here. Increases his own MP generation rate. Draws all enemies to himself. Gains crit stars. Increases the party's attack for 3 turns. Increases the party's buster performance for 3 turns. And increases the critical damage of Roman allies for 3 turns. But it's only 20% each year. And it's a 30% on Roman crit. The third skill is very convoluted. It's 30% charge, basically increasing his own critical damage for 3 turns, gaining critical stars for 3 turns, and then when he dies, he will basically transfer that to someone else. Okay? So it is an interesting idea nonetheless, but it's really weird to have, and I'm just going to go ahead and say this, a 5-star sacrificial unit. Why? We have a Rash cat. Rash works so well. True. We also have someone like Khadroth, who's a 4-star unit that can off herself. I'm not going to argue that. But here's the issue at play. 1, this is a limited unit you have to roll for. And 2, the party cost is damn high for something like this. So thinking about using him as a sacrificial unit to me is just not really a tenable idea. It's not something you really want to do. It's, I guess, okay to have this effect should it be needed, but you really hope to not have to get to this point, because at that point, if your defensive person is going down, we have concerns. We have concerns with staying power, with longevity of the comp, of staying alive. We get to the NP here. And the NP originally was an increase to his buster performance for 3 turns, granting himself invincibility for 1 attack 1 turn, and reducing the damage taken of Roman allies with a 5,000 damage cut for 1 turn, while increasing the party's defense for 1 turn by 100%. So, it's an interesting idea, right? But let's break this down. What is Constantine? Well, Constantine's a rider. Constantine is somebody that can be used defensively. Constantine is somebody that can provide the party at least with, a small amount of buffs and basically taunt and keep things off of them. But if I'm going to look at something like this, and then I'm going to compare him to other defensive units in a game, this begins to quickly fall apart. Why? Well, for starters, let's just go look at one of the other defensive units in the game. What do we got with Leonidas? We also have a one-turn taunt that increases on NP generation. We have a self-guts. So instead of a, hey, if I die, somebody else gets my stuff, it's a, maybe I don't die. Okay? And, hey, if I die, then I increase someone's stuff. And then, oh, look at that. Party-wide Buster performance by 25%. So here's the thing I'm going to point out. This is a 2-star. This unit takes up way less of the party budget. This unit is free. This unit does not require you to roll for them. And already just in the kit, we have, I'm going to be generous and say 50% of the effectiveness. For me personally, I'm going to say it's actually more than 50%, but I'm going to be generous to Constantine and say this is only 50% of Constantine's kit. It's an interesting thing nonetheless to look at that and see just how much this sort of carries over. Because it's part of the reason why I think a lot of people just did not roll for him. So let's now look at the NP again. Okay, so he's got the he's got his own Buster performance for 3 turns, and that is actually what scales with NP level. I'm just going to be honest with you and say this is just not worth it, because the NP is not a damage dealing NP. Okay, so you are paying for more levels to get a buff to 2 of his cards for 3 turns. That's not worth it. At best, grab the one and be done, right? Get that collection copy and get out. He had an invincibility for 1 attack, 1 turn. This is, I'ma just be honest with you, dumb and bad. Why? Well, that 1 attack might save him from getting NP'd. Sure. But it's 1 attack, and there's no guarantee that the enemy that has an NP moves first. So it might not help him at all in that regard. He does have a damage cut for Roman allies by 5,000. That's a strong damage cut. That actually will do some work. And again, he is Roman, so himself, he will get this, and it will make him tankier. But also, anyone else in the party that is Roman will also get this. Then from there, he's going to increase the party's defense for 1 turn. This will also include him, and it's by 100%. What does this mean? Does this mean that Constantine will take no damage from an enemy? No, not necessarily. This means all other things accounted for, if the enemy has no offensive buffs, they will in fact do no damage to him. But that's not guaranteeable. The enemy might have offensive buffs. The enemy might also just have some way of piercing this or, again, removing it. So it's something you have to be careful with. But naturally, I'm going to say you're not going to take a unit like this into a situation where they could get buff stripped or pierced unless you're just not paying attention, or you're not mitigating it somehow by taking like buff removal resistance, or again, somebody else in the party. So it's not necessarily fair to say that like, hey, this is weak and you should never use this. This is an interesting idea. However, I'm going to say a couple of things here. One is that this is only the 1 attack, 1 turn. So let's go look at another defensive unit here. We have an entire turn of invincibility. Would you rather mitigate damage coming your way, chat, or just prevent it? I'd rather prevent it. And we also have the taunt tied to the NP, meaning that during that turn, QSH will soak all damage unless the damage is AoE from an NP. This is just flat out designed better. This just works more. Doesn't mean that Constantine is bad, but it does mean that QSH is stronger for most scenarios with that in mind. So now, let's go ahead and let's look at the upgrade. What did they do for him? Well, for starters, he increases the party's buster performance for 3 turns now. Why am I going to applaud something like this, champ? Well, for starters, let's think about this. What scenario would you want to take Constantine in? A defensive scenario. Why then would you rely on Constantine to keep your party alive? He is a buster NP. He basically has only the 2 arts cards, and his NP gain rate is not that crazy. It's not bad. Don't get me wrong. He's got 4 hit arts cards, and he does have the NP generation rate by 50% for 1 turn. So if you manage to land this on the... Oh, wait, that's a problem, isn't it? He doesn't have a multi-turn taunt. This, to me, is one of the biggest glaring issues for Constantine. Because, 1, now we have to make this stupid decision between do we get Constantine back to an NP, or do we try to basically taunt on the turn that we want to? It may be that they intersect and you're perfectly fine. Because again, maybe with the NP, nobody takes damage. So it's certainly a possibility. But not having this freedom of choice is a little bit of an issue. Not having the taunt tied to the NP where we can try to soak everything to ourselves as the defensive unit, kind of an issue for me. And then you start to think about this and you start to think about, well, okay, he doesn't have that. But to me, what I'm going to take a defensive unit for is for protecting that party, keeping that party alive long term and keeping it going. So the issue to me with someone like Constantine is that he feels very selfish, even despite the stuff in his kit being designed somewhat for the party. The reason why is because you have to make him the focus because he is carding dependent to get to his NPs in order to allow him to protect the party. And you might be able to do that, but you might also not. So seeing that basically now with this NP that they ended up giving more party-wide sort of acceptance and usability, this is helping that trade-off. This is making it more beneficial to bring Constantine to the party. Because there are numerous other defensive units that I can take and bring that would equally protect the party that I would not necessarily have to make the sole focus, particularly if they're an arts unit. So that's one of the things that I think they're trying to combat here, and I'm going to give them a good job for it. Also because it gives more value to actually rolling more copies of him. This was the issue overall. There was no reason to roll NP2 Constantine. Period. End of story. The only justification you could come up with was basically that maybe there would be a drain in the actual fight, and so having the ability to go beyond 100% might be useful in that scenario. And that is incredibly niche and not likely to really be a reason for you to actually spend more money. From here, he now also grants the entire party invincibility for 1 attack for 3 turns. Compare this, that it used to be just him 1 attack 1 turn. This fucking sucked. There was really no reason to have it. Not with what the overcharge here was at that point. Also, I'm going to say Constantine's overcharge is dumb and bad because we either have that 100% or maybe the enemy has some offensive buffs, but beyond this, this is almost never going to come into play. Like, ever. You are never really going to ever need this. So, straight up, you really only care about this. I don't believe Constantine was designed by an intelligent person that understands FGO systems. It's my only conclusion. And I hate to say that because, again, you can use him, but his original design just was convoluted and contradictory almost. It did not make a whole lot of sense. There was just a lot of waste in its design. So now instead, this is party-wide one attack for multiple turns. Now Constantine serves an actual use for mitigation beyond just the turn that he is impeding on. Now I have a reason to bring him to the party, because I wasn't going to otherwise. So this is actually probably the best part of this, and I really do mean that. Like, this actually does allow you to use him without feeling like you are just gimping your comp with this sort of bloated 5-star that doesn't really have the payoff that a cheaper or, again, another maybe other 5-star that's more focused would have. So, again, this is really, really good. He reduces the damage taken by Roman allies still, and he increases the party's defense for 1 turn still, but now he's going to increase the party's NP damage except for himself for 3 turns. So I find it a little bit interesting that it's except for self, but I'm gonna be like, it doesn't matter and it's perfectly fine because he doesn't have NP damage, right? The 3-turn duration on this is nice. This is also another reason to bring him, as this will give him, hey, yes, I may be, not a meta support. I may be not another damage dealer in the party, but I'm at least going to help that damage dealer over here pop off a little bit more. Also, we can see it's sort of telling that they put this on the overcharge effect, which means it's sort of them acknowledging that, yeah, this overcharge did not make any fucking sense. There was really no benefit to it. So they gave you something that there actually was a benefit to at that point. So, like I said, I'm A-okay with that. Now, let me state this. There's still 2 changes I want made to Constantine. And I think if they make them, Constantine be a damn good unit defensively. What do I want? I want this 3-turn. He's a 5-star. Give it to him. Okay? Not the NP gen. You can leave that at 1 turn. But make the taunt 3 turns. I think that is fair. Now, don't get me wrong. This cooldown, this is going to be a little bit sus if we start pairing this with Koya and Skya. But, I'm okay with that. Chat. What other thing would you give Constantine? I want to see if you can come up with it. What other thing would you give him? Make him ours. Anyone else? There it is, AFK. Good job. Good job. Chat. Why do we have a guy that's so Roman-centric that doesn't give Roman buff? I know they want you to pair him with Roman people, but let's be honest. Who are our Romans? This ain't exactly looking like a good challenge lineup that you're going to pair him with. Straight up, that's what this NP should have done. I would have loved to have seen, instead of increase the party's NP damage for self for 3 turns, if the overcharge, or again, maybe even just a base part of the NP, granted Roman trait to allies. You could even do it where it's only the 1 turn. Grand Lancer, you all become Roma. Yeah, it's quite literally like you use Roma with him or not at all. Like, to me, they are very much hand in hand for what you kind of need to be doing in a comp. I think the ironically enough, one of the most ideal comps for Constantine is Constantine, Merlin, and like literally 5-star Romulus, right? Because Romulus can actually bring it. But that's sort of a problem because it means that Constantine doesn't have like this ability to really like take a whole bunch of extra people with him. So that's why I'm saying if they actually gave him the ability to do it, and there is justification for this. Why? Because the Byzantines actually did have a more open idea about who was Roman. So you'd have basically the beginning and the end, the first Roman emperor and the last, and both grant Roman trait. So I actually think it'd be somewhat poetic and it would make a lot of sense for him. So, like I said, that's what I would give him. I wouldn't give him guts. I wouldn't give him more defensive stuff. With this, defensively, he's good. Can you give him some other upgrades, some things that'll help him? Yes. I do think the taunt is probably the biggest thing that actually would help him. You can always slap a taunt C on him if you have it, but I do think that is somewhat the issue, is like he needs that capability of being able to like focus the attention on him as a defensive unit. He needs that capability of being able to soak and like kind of again justify his presence in the party over just, why am I not taking another Merlin? Why am I not taking a Castoria? Why am I not taking, somebody else that's just going to help keep things going and keep the party alive? So, to me, give him that ability to do that. Then not only are they going to get that 5,000 damage cut, they're also going to end up getting basically the critical damage up on the second skill here. So I think that could be really nice. Yeah, I think I think Constantine was usable before, but you were gimping yourself. I think he is much more usable now. Are you gimping yourself? I don't know, right? I'm going to say that's probably a little bit more on a case-by-case basis now. Versus, yeah, before, no, you absolutely were. No questions asked. If you took Constantine to your comp, you could have done it better by taking someone else. So. New craft essence available? Yeah, we got the next one coming. Where was it? That one. Okay. Like I said, this one is increased friend points gained from support. That's stackable. It's 25%, 25 at MLB here. And then 2.5% increase to bond gained and master experience, which, like I said, it's not really that good of a C. So. I'd rather prefer Crane's gimmick to this for an SSR that's disposable. Yeah, no, I agree. And I think that is the problem that Constantine has had. He just originally was not designed well. There is just too much freaking overlap. Like, for instance, chat. Either that enemy is piercing this or it's not. Like, I gotta be honest, I'm not the hugest fan of skills where it's like, I am both invuln and defense up, because those two things don't really like have that reason to be used as far as I'm concerned. Either I'm taking that invuln and the damage is getting prevented, or the guy's piercing through that and I'm going like, so it is what it is. And if the guy's piercing through it, nowadays I'm taking Castoria. If the guy's stripping it, then we're fucked no matter what. So. Also, his invuln has lower priority. Yes, it's a good point, actually. I should have mentioned that. So now this is stackable with other invincibilities, which is nice. That is actually really, really cool. And Trubs brought it up. I haven't actually tested this. If one of you guys does know, feel free to tell me. But basically, with units like Kukulkan that can convert any source of invincibility into solemn defense, in theory, you have a stackable solemn defense. But like I said, I have not tested that to see. So. Because like I'm sure you can stack solemn defense with invuln, but can you stack the two solemn defenses? Yes, no, it doesn't. Ah, the duality of chat. You can have 2 times different solemn defense. Okay. Yeah, that's why, like, it's an interesting concept, but I was not sure whether or not that was the case because I hadn't had the time to test it myself. I don't have Constantine on JP for obvious reasons. Basically, to me, he did not seem worth the roll, okay? And I didn't, like, whenever I make servant analyses, I'm going to try to make the best case for the unit, but I didn't want to like make it seem like Constantine was in a great spot and that, you know, he was the best unit ever. I definitely voiced concerns with him and definitely wanted people to realize here's how you could use him, but it's not necessarily going to be something that like I think everybody needed to have. Of curiosity, do you know if Summer Scotty's next banner after her initial banner, the next year's summer banner? Huh? Are you asking when is Summer Scotty's next banner? I don't know. Not off the top of my head. Yeah, I'm sure she has a rerun. I don't remember when it is. So. Well, they got a buff. Is there an event? We have our first ever interlude campaign on JP. In, you know, 1.5 years. So basically oh god. Basically they came out with interlude campaign 19, wasn't it? Yeah, here we go. And it's just the 2 interludes for these 2 units, and it's just the 2 upgrades. So I am glad. I do think that 6.5 needed a little bit more characterization. And I am going to call them out at least a little bit and say that this is, they've taken way too long on some of this. And it's definitely been feeling like, at least, you know, I've voiced this privately and even somewhat publicly, that that they're not developing their characters as much as they had been in the past. And part of it is stuff like this. Like, if you're not running the interlude campaigns, we're not getting that, like, sort of more focused story blurb on that character. So it's really important to developing the character and making them kind of come to life a little bit more. And I think it's important to keep running them. So I'm glad that they finally did it. I think this is a good thing, and I hope they start to do it more. I'm sad that it's only these 2, though. I do wish that they would, you know, again, go back to doing the 5 at a time type stuff. Sorry, I'm on iPad, so bad at typing. No, it's perfectly fine. Arcade starts next week. Yeah, I will say this. Called it. What did I call? Well, I did call that there was going to be something in the 3rd week of Summer 6. I just thought it was going to be the 30 million downloads campaign, so unfortunately I did not call the right thing. I was right that there would be something. I was wrong in what it was. Again, hopefully we see the download campaign, but yeah, I have no idea when they're going to run it, so we'll just have to see. trust the process we're getting back. I will not trust the process. And I'm going to say that the devs have lost that trust from me. But I will say that I will be a skeptic, but be very happy to be proven like wrong, right? Like it's one of those deals where I trust the devs are trying. I just don't know why they haven't done what they have done. In the case of like interlude campaigns, like why has it been so long since they've run one? When are we going to get interlude campaign 20? Right? Like, will it be another year, or will we get another one this year? I think that those are the sorts of questions that like matter, and we don't have the answers to that, nor will we. Even when the devs do give answers to things like that, like for instance, chat, last anniversary, Mr. 2 got asked, hey, what about those Grail fronts? You haven't been running those. And Mr. 2 was like, whoa, okay, you're right, but we have a new Grail front coming out. And there was a new Grail front in October. We haven't had another Grail front since then. So the point being, even when the devs kind of make it seem like, oh, hey, yeah, we're getting back in the saddle, we're going to be doing more. You know, they might just do it the one time, and it's going to be, hey, what about those Grail fronts again, as we have to ask. So I don't know. I don't know why certain things are the way that they are. I do know from prior dev comments on Grail fronts, for instance, they've indicated that it's actually a lot harder to do than people think, because I guess there's issues with the AI that they use for Grail fronts and how they have to like manage that. But I don't know. So it's definitely an interesting thing nonetheless. But cautious optimism is honestly one of the best approaches at a time like this. Yeah, I agree. Right? Like, be a skeptic, be a cautious optimist. It doesn't matter. Just don't go hard in the tank into believing that everything is hunky dory. I don't think that does anyone any good. Right? Like, hopefully they get better. I am going to say hopefully they get better. A single employee asked Type Moon if they could do this and this for G-Man. You know, from everything that we have ever heard, I'm going to say this. The rate of buffs and upgrades might not be Lasingle's problem. That might entirely be Type Moon's problem. Why? From what we know from past interviews, Type Moon does hold the reins on that stuff. Like, you do not get an upgrade through without approval from Type Moon. That is apparently the case. So, like, it might very well not be the dev's fault that they can't upgrade more units. It might be that Nasu does not want to upgrade that unit, lore-wise. So, I'm not sure that that's a good way to handle a game in that regard. But in a weird way, at least we get upgrades compared to some other games that seemingly never upgrade their units. So I'll take it, right? Like, but it just, yeah, it definitely feels like they could be doing better. Nasu blocking Geronimo upgrades. I mean, he might be. I don't know, right? Like, it may also be that the devs never asked to have Geronimo upgraded. So we don't really know, right? Like, I say it might not be Lasingle's fault. It might still entirely be Lasingle's fault. So it's just, there is that possibility. And from prior interviews, we know that Type Moon kind of holds the reins on that. But like I said, I could not tell you, because again, we just don't know behind the scenes what all is going on and why. NASA will only approve a G-Man buff that'll make him broken, surely. Yeah. Yeah, you guys just haven't seen 5-star Geronimo that hunts you in your sleep. There's just a serious Geronimo hater? No. I mean, like memes aside, it's funny to say stuff like that, but do I think there's actually anyone inside of Lasingle that hates Geronimo? No. No, chat, never assume malice where like what's the phrase? Never assume malice where is it malfeasance? I don't remember, but it's like it's basically just like people are not acting evilly, they're just stupid or ignorant, right? Incompetence, yeah. Where incompetence can be the reason. Hello, Spartan. I don't think anyone hates the G-Man. Right. Like, I mean, they might, right? Like, maybe there is someone. I wouldn't assume that, because that like, I think you can probably assume that certain devs probably have favorites, but I don't think that they probably let distaste ever factor into things. Because again, like I said, if Type Moon really is the one controlling the overall balance of the game, then there's probably more that lore is to blame than anything else at that point. Which I do think like lore is important and does deserve a say in like who is strong and who is not. But I think like, if you know, there's a difference between saying like, hey, a unit is this strong, lore claims that they should be this strong, and like, you know, like why can't we at least like move them to like here, right? Like at that point, like that's kind of what I'm trying to say, because it's like, you know, they may be this strong, lore might claim that they should be this strong, and then their you know, competitors are this strong, and then you're like, well, come on, can't we move them closer, right? Like, can't we get them more in line, right? Like, just because lore says that person A is stronger than person B does not mean that like there has to be a huge gap there. It means that you can still scrunch it and make that difference in power smaller, so to speak. If lore is a factor, could be even stronger, right? So now all we need is a cookies and cream buff. No. I don't know that we need to buff Cream. Cream is a good unit in and of her own right. I think people probably overstate how good she is, but I don't think she's in a bad spot by any means. And I think of the single target berserkers, especially 4 stars, she's in a really good spot. I think the fact that we consider her and compare her to 5 stars says a lot already. So Tamamo Cat buff win. Tamamo Cat has had plenty of buffs. She hits good enough and has niches while her downside is refund. That's fine, I'm up. Yeah, especially since she has 50% charge. So it's like when you have a unit that has a ton of charge in their kit, then you're way less concerned about refund overall, because you know that you can brute force it a lot of the time. Ugh. But all right, chat. That's basically going to be it for me tonight. We talked a lot about this, and I am going to instead switch over to Armored Core 6. We're going to be continuing on with this. I did customize the paint job of my mech, but I didn't do anything else beyond that. Air conditioning time? Yes. Air conditioning 6. I do want to set the world on fire, though. Is that why Hector is a 3-star and Achilles is a 5-star? Yeah, no, I mean, like, I don't really know, right? I don't know why they set the star ratings at what they have. I do know they have admitted before that they've made mistakes. Like, for instance, they have said that that they did mess up with Romulus as the first emperor of Rome, that he should have been better to begin with. So it definitely is an interesting idea that maybe they didn't do what they should have, but who knows, right? Who knows who made the original decision on something like that? Fake Benkei is a 2-star. Is CAD locked in tonight? No, because like I totally have already forgotten the buttons. Yeah, we did all the arenas for right now. I have money. I can buy more parts, but I don't know. We'll probably just sortie here, and I'll see how I'm doing. Attack the watch point.
This is a rather personal request from a friend of mine.
Roland buff also? I think Roland's fine.
A certain facility, a watch point. Once, it regulated the underground flow of coral. Now it serves to monitor the dormant veins. I want you to attack it.
Of course.
Your objective will be to destroy the sensor valve at its core. The watch point is kept secure by SG, the planetside PCA force, which means it's too hot for the corporations to be seen there. In other words, we're flying strictly solo on this one.
Aren't we always? Okay, chat, so you can see. This is how my guy looks now.
You'll be going in under cover of darkness. Be ready for anything.
I hate that he keeps telling me that. Really feels like he is setting me up to get betrayed. Do we have to play past Armored Core to play 6? I have not, so I'm gonna say no. I'm still like somewhat confused and have some questions, but I do think you can step into it
It's go time.
and you'll be able to handle it. Story-wise, I'm not sure how much it depends on prior stuff.
Would anticipate a solo independent mercenary. Get in there and get to work.
This is 100% standalone, yeah. I mean, is there any, like, are all the games standalone?
Activating combat mode.
Leave no evidence. If anyone sees you, handle it.
Code 1-5. Intruder sighted. It's just one HC. Who are they with? We can look into that later. Engaging. Code 7-8. Requesting backup. I can't get through to HQ.
Cavalry isn't coming. Wipe them out, 621.
Oh, I can actually go down here? Okay, I thought this was like Death Zone. Oh my god. Is there anything else?
Confirmed. Enemy squad destroyed. Move on to the next area.
Okay. When terrain becomes an enemy, it feels like
Where
it.
did that AC come from? What happened to the patrol squad?
Code 1-8. All units deploy for combat.
You're exposed to snipers from all quarters. Keep moving or they'll shoot you down.
50%. Code 3-1C. We've taken critical damage.
Okay.
Updating your marker data. Proceed in the direction indicated.
1 repair kit remaining.
I feel like I've just taken a ton of damage here.
You see that? That's the Watchpoint's control center. The target's inside. Make your way in.
Attacking a watch point. You're incorrigible, Handler Walter. How many of your dogs must I kill before you learn?
Oh boy, a boss battle.
Sula.
Pitiful dog. I feel sorry for you. I really do. You may have survived a little longer. If you had a different master.
C1249. Sula. He's an independent mercenary who survived first-gen augmentation. Don't think twice, 621. Kill him before he kills you.
Well, the fact that he moves just as shiftily as I do.
Where's 619 and 620? Dead? Which ones did I kill, I wonder?
Don't let it bait you. Focus.
AP at 50%. Light shoulder ammunition at 50%.
One of Gen 4's lot. I hear you make fine
Oh my God.
rounds with the right training. Shame you'll have to die here.
AP at 30%.
Dude, this guy is like just ledge camping. It's fucking rough.
Light shoulder ammunition at 30%.
Dude! I just cannot fucking, get him with my, Yeah, I cannot fucking sword his ass. He just always dodges it. He is way too fucking nimble. And it's difficult to keep him on the screen. Okay, hopefully that checkpointed right there at least. Get bubbled? Yeah, the bubbles, it's hard to like not take damage from that. Because there's just so many projectiles.
Is that Sula?
Pitiful dog. I feel sorry for you. I really do. You may have survived a little longer. If only you had a different master.
C1249.
Yeah, like he manages to dodge me vertically every fucking time.
Don't think twice, 621. Kill him.
And like my mech cannot track him that way. And see, like there, I finally hit him once, but he punished me so fucking hard for it.
619 and 620. Dead? Which ones did I kill, I wonder?
Don't let it bait you. Focus.
One of Gen 4's lot. I hear you make fine hounds with the right training. Shame you'll have to die here.
Dude. No! Game!
AP at 30%.
Another dead dog. Was it worth it,
So,
Walter?
Chad, is there some mechanic where I'm on water where I just do not regenerate energy? Like, it feels really weird, because, like, it feels like there's just this insane delay for getting my energy back right now. And I don't know why. Maybe it's that, like, he's just so nimble and I'm spamming it all the time, but...
That's the Watchpoint's control center. The target's inside. Make your way in.
Cat's still playing too horizontally. To be fair, it is extremely difficult for me to track things vertically. Like up and down. Like when he dodges downward, I can't do that move, I don't think. Like, can't I only dodge to the sides? Forward and back?
Pitiful dog. I feel sorry for you. I really do. You may have survived a little longer. If only you had a different master.
C1249. Sula. He's an independent mercenary who survived first-gen augmentation. Don't think twice, 621. Kill him before he kills you.
Where's 619 and 620? Dead?
Like, I'll try to get off the ground here a little bit more.
Don't let him bait you. Focus.
You're one of Gen 4's lot. I hear you make fine hounds with the right training. Shame you'll have to die here.
Ow!
Seconds remaining. AP at 50%.
You say I've gotten much better? I don't feel like I have. Oh shit.
AP at 50%.
Walter, stay away from the watch point.
Confirmed. Enemy AC destroyed.
Punishing him pretty well with those rifle hits. Yeah. It, like, I guess it's weird that I just needed to stay away from him. And once I realized that, I just started punishing him, but it was like, it didn't feel fun. It didn't feel good. Like, I wanted to, like, get up in his face and, like, keep dodging and stuff, but it was instead just sit back, shoot, 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 shoot. Oh, here comes a projectile dodge. Shoot, shoot, shoot. Like, kind of, right? Oh boy, a resupply. This another boss? Manage weapons and deal with shields. I still don't really know how to deal with shields, honestly. Do I just go all around? No, I just go in, don't I? Whee!
Destroy the device in the center. Good job, 621.
You need a different setup? Okay.
We're done here. Head back to base.
Yeah, so I haven't unlocked the kick either yet. At least I don't think.
621, get out of there.
Oh no, Walter sent me into a trap. I never would have thought. Walter just wants to see me die, chat. You could revisit later with another setup and have more fun. Okay.
Who are you?
Woman?
An older type of augmented human. Fourth generation. Have we made contact? I am Air, a Rubiconian. Please, you must wake up.
You sound like a robot.
Before your consciousness is forever scattered in the coral flow.
Space wife? I see. See, I thought my space wife was like Samus Aran or Aurelia dressed as Samus Aran.
Augmented human C4621. Vital signs confirmed. Disabling autopilot. Establishing comms link with him.
Raven. I've identified an approaching enemy.
Oh joy.
I'll synchronize with your brainwaves and maintain contact to support you.
I smell bullet hell.
System reactivating combat mode. Into the enemy craft. It's an autonomous PCA craft, bound to this. You'll have to break its pulse armor to inflict meaningful damage. Picking up a massive heat signature. Evasive action, Raven. Pulse armor down. Now's your chance, Raven. I've taken your comms link offline for now. That massive dose of coral nearly killed you. Please, I have to focus on winning this.
AP at 50%.
Ow!
30%. One repair kit remaining.
What?
50%.
Dude, it just like did not fucking do the freaking slash.
The enemy has taken heavy damage.
I hate that so much.
Remaining.
There's absolutely a move.
Right shield AP at 50%.
The waves are intensifying. Raven, get clear.
AP at 30%.
You gotta tell me it's gonna do something like that before that point, AI. Raven, get clear as I'm getting hit. Has a shield over his stun bar. Okay, so chat, two things I noticed there. One, it's almost impossible to completely dodge all the damage from the missiles. And two, I fucking hate when the AI goes, oh, he's lunging at me with a sword. I back up and keep firing at him, and it's like it's kiting me. I hate that so fucking much.
Main system reactivating combat mode.
Yeah, how, chat? Like, what direction am I supposed to dodge that to actually dodge everything?
You'll have to break its pulse armor to inflict meaningful damage.
2 repair kits remaining.
Picking up a massive heat signature. Evasive action, Raven. Pulse armor down. Now's your chance, Raven. I've taken your coastline offline for now. That massive dose of coral really killed you. Please, you have to focus on winning this.
Yeah, I hate that. I hate that. He looks like he's stunned. You go in and he's like, just kidding. I should not have taken that hit.
Right shoulder ammunition at 15%. No repair kits remaining.
The waves are intensifying. Raven, get clear.
Right shoulder ammunition at 30%.
Got like no energy by which to dodge. God damn it, dude.
Right shoulder ammunition at 10%.
I feel like I'm doing terrible against him.
TP at 50%.
I'm sorry, Raven.
Melee can be challenging in this game. Yeah, like I said, it's more just that the AI seems to like perfect dodge you more than anything. He's a pretty tough fight. It feels like there's still something not connecting with the dodging of the missiles, because like it feels like if I'm far away, they group up enough that you can dodge it, but if you're too close, you just cannot dodge it because they don't like your dodge window is not long enough to cover all the missiles streaming in one by one. Whereas at a longer distance, they group up and you and hit almost at the same time. If that makes any sense. I was stuck here for like 6 hours, 6+ hours. That's not, I'm not looking forward to that.
I've looked into the enemy craft. It's an autonomous PCA craft, Bauteus. You'll have to break its pulse armor to inflict meaningful damage.
Dude, what? No. No, I ain't taking a hit like that in the opening fucking salvo. Like, what? Just kill me.
I'm sorry, Raven.
It's also a fight that they nerf. I mean, to be fair, I can kind of see why, just because it feels like, bro, you think tactical reloading is the reason I'm not doing this game? It feels like you don't really have enough yet to be able to really take it on, but maybe it is a build issue, so I'm not sure.
Main system, reactivating combat mode.
Yeah, see, like, chat, how do you dodge that?
It's an autonomous PCA craft. Bronteus. You'll have to break its pulse armor to inflict meaningful damage.
No, you literally hit me with half the missiles in the opening salvo and then staggered me right there and got free hits.
Picking up a massive heat signature. Evasive
There are
action
ways?
weapon.
That doesn't help. Like, Chad, if you can't tell me, like, the way in which to dodge, I don't know how I'm supposed to process that info. You're telling me it's possible, that's great, but it doesn't help me figure it out. You close in, that's how half the missiles will get passed by. But then won't they just turn around and hit me from behind? Also, Zort, hello. Thank you for the 37. Straight at him with overboost. So if I overboost...
Reactivating combat mode. I've looked into the enemy craft. It's an autonomous PCA craft. Bronteus. You'll have to break its pulse armor to inflict meaningful damage. Chance, Raven. I've taken your comms link offline for now. That massive dose of coral nearly killed you. Please, you have to focus on winning this.
2 repair kits remaining.
Picking up a massive heat signature. Evasive action, Raven. Waves are intensifying. Raven, get clear.
Oh!
50%.
Alright, bro, like, come on.
Light shoulder ammunition at 50%.
No, game, fuck off! Fuck off with that! You made him go vertical up out of sight! Like, what the fuck am I supposed to do with that? I tried to go for the melee. So it's weird because it feels like the melee in the first phase is way better. And then the melee in the second phase is just not it. Like, but yeah, I don't like that. I don't like that you finally have an opening and the AI goes, oh, I went way up out of the, like, almost the battlefield, right? Like, and just broke line of sight and straight up just rained hell from above. This game needs more melee options. I do agree with that.
I've looked into the enemy craft. It's an autonomous PCA craft. Bronteus. You'll have to break its pulse armor to inflict meaningful damage.
Yeah, see that's some bullshit.
2 repair kits remaining.
Pulse armor down. Now's your chance, Raven. I've taken your comms link offline for now. That massive dose of coral nearly killed you. Please, you have to focus on winning this. Picking up a massive heat signature. Evasive action, Raven.
At 50%. Right shoulder ammunition at 50%.
The waves are intensifying. Raven, get clear.
AP at 50%. No repair kits remaining.
What? Like, I'm also gonna say this. I think part of the bullshit is this boss has like 5 different weapons.
AP at 50%. AP at 30%.
Nah, like, basically he hit me way too much there. So like, I get in close and he uses the equivalent of like a shotgun on me, and I'm like, ugh. You already have long range missiles, you already have a shield, you already have a clear out move when the shield recharges, you basically have laser swords to swipe everything, and I'm like, what the fuck, man?
Main system, reactivating combat mode. I've looked into the enemy craft. It's an autonomous PCA craft.
Nope.
Bounteous.
Like, to me, there's no point in continuing to try and fight him, because I get his move set. I don't think it's that bad, and so if I take early damage, it's just better to just go ahead and die and let him kill me.
I'm sorry, Raven.
Game does encourage people to constantly change setups. No, I'm okay with that. I think, like, so far my setups, like, Chad, I really don't feel like there's that much more different that I could equip that would really help me with this. Like, I mean, you'd have to tell me if you're not letting me in on something, but...
Reactivating combat mode. I've looked into the enemy craft.
Oh, great.
It's
I
an
can't see the
autonomous
enemy.
PCA craft. Bounteous. You'll have to break its pulse armor to inflict meaningful damage. I'm sorry, Raven.
I just should not have charged in on that one. He also has cannon shot too. Yeah, no, I know. That's what I'm saying. It's like this just feels like he has quite literally everything.
Combat mode. I've looked into the enemy craft. It's an autonomous PCA craft. Bounteous. You'll have to break its pulse armor to inflict meaningful damage. Pulse armor down. Now's your chance, Raven. I've taken your comms link offline for now. That massive dose of coral nearly killed you. Please, you have to focus on winning this.
I don't really get the shield though. The shield just seemingly comes back on its own as much and as frequently as it wants.
The enemy has taken heavy damage. Keep it up, Raven.
Damn it, dude. I even dodged that and it still hit.
One repair kit remaining. Light shoulder ammunition at 50%.
The waves are intensifying. Raven, get clear.
See,
At 30%.
no, I disagree with that game. I dodged through that.
I'm sorry, Raven.
You can restart from a checkpoint at will if you pause. Oh, okay. That I didn't realize. Dual machine guns or dual shoulder cannons will. Never mind, have fun. Yeah, no, I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you, Ein. That's like the first time anyone's said anything like that to me on this. So I have no idea what is meta in this game. Your main arm gun is doing no damage, just ricocheting off. You know, I've been told about ricocheting. I'm going to blame the game for that one because I don't know how I would tell that. Like, as far as I'm concerned, I haven't seen anything that indicates that I'm ricocheting. Now, maybe that's the case, but the game has told me about ricocheting. It hasn't, like, made that apparent. So if that's the case, I don't know, right? His pulse shield is going to have to make you play more aggressive. Yeah, well, like I said, the shield just feels like it's just actually straight up, like, just regenning on its own. So you can hear the pings and ricochets, and you can usually close them to compensate. I can't really hear it, so like I'm gonna just be real with you. Throughout all the missiles, all the beeping and blaring, and air in my ear, like giving me ASMR, I don't really hear something like pinging.
Main system, reactivating combat mode. I've looked into the enemy craft.
Oh, dude.
It's an autonomous PCA craft, Bounteous. You'll have to break its pulse armor to inflict meaningful damage. Picking up a massive heat signature. Evasive action, Raven. Pulse armor down. Now's your chance, Raven. Your comms link offline for now. That massive dose of coral nearly killed you. Please, you have to focus on winning this.
2 repair kits remaining.
It's so difficult to like dodge shit from off screen. Like, I feel like more than anything in this game, you fight the camera. And I'm kind of used to that from Souls games, but like... Chat, I'm listening for it. I do not hear pinging.
Main system, reactivating combat mode. I've looked into the enemy craft. It's an autonomous PCA craft, Bounteous. You'll have to break its pulse armor to inflict meaningful damage. your chance, Raven. I've taken your comms link offline for now. That massive burst of horror nearly killed you. Please, you have to focus on winning this.
Okay, so chat. Why? Why right there did his shield just suddenly come back? Like, was I not doing damage? Did I not do enough damage fast enough? Like, the shield mechanics have not been explained to me. So, it's just on a timer? Okay. Because that's partially what's giving me fits here, is I have no idea when he's, like, actually doing this stuff.
I've looked into the enemy craft. It's an autonomous PCA craft, Bounteous. You'll have to break its pulse armor to inflict me.
Like, what the fuck?
Main system, reactivating combat mode. I've looked into the enemy craft. It's an autonomous PCA craft, Bounteous. You'll have to break its pulse armor to inflict meaningful damage.
Bro, like, what the fuck? The fact that you can fire all of that and still keep moving up and vertically and perfectly dodging is just fucking dumb.
I've looked into the enemy craft. It's an autonomous PCA craft, Bounteous. You'll have to break its pulse armor to inflict meaningful damage.
This could be a frustrating fight. I do feel like my main armor or my main weapon is not doing anything.
I've looked into the enemy craft. It's an autonomous
And I also just feel like I in general don't have enough evasion to be able to like withstand some of the barrages that he does. Yeah, big boy? Dude, like, what is this? And then anytime I get close, anytime I lunge at him, he just zooms off to another part of the fucking map. And then I don't have evasion to dodge the missiles after the fact. I mean, I think, chat, like, I can't swap mid-battle, right? So, like, I straight up have to restart the entire mission, right? You can fight this boss slow, you gotta do big damage fast. Then no, I can't. Like, straight up. I'm sorry, chat. Go to assembly? Yeah, that's... Well, and that's why I'm saying, is like, it just does not feel... No, you die, then go to assembly? Alright, chat. Please, for the love of God, stop giving me mixed answers. Tell me what you mean. Like, what do you mean, I die, no, restart, no, quit? Like, give me a coherent answer, please. So die first. Okay.
AP at 50%.
I find it funny sometimes how hard it is for like a boss to actually kill you. You can swap with gear you've bought. Okay. Yeah, I didn't realize you could do this mid-mission. And that's why I'm saying, like, I'm getting mixed signals from chat. Okay. So what are you guys saying is good against it? Because I don't really know what works against shields and whatnot, right? Like, I have no idea. Like, is chat saying you? God damn it! Is chat saying use the linear rifle here, machine gun? Yeah, so I have a laser handgun, a machine gun, an assault rifle, linear rifle, and a burst rifle. So I'm gonna go with the machine gun since chat has indicated that that is the thing I should go with. But that is all that I have. You have a laser pistol. Should I go with the laser pistol? Would it be better to swap it out? Oh, I have a grenade launcher, chat. Only 40 total rounds, though. I mean, is the laser handgun going to be better than the machine gun? Okay. And yeah, I'll try the grenade launcher. I basically have dual missile launchers on the shoulders. I have a vertical missile launcher. I don't know if that'd be better than the plasma one that I have. I feel like the plasma one's... Is the plasma one actually good at dealing with shields? Yeah? Okay. Probably why I was actually able to break the shield then. Okay. Well, let's try this then.
Main system, reactivating combat mode. I've looked into the enemy craft. It's an autonomous PCA craft, Bauteus. You'll have to break its pulse armor to inflict meaningful damage.
Huh?
Picking up a massive heat signature. Evasive action, Raven.
Ow. God, this thing just never sits still. Chat, this doesn't feel like this is working very well.
That massive dose of coral nearly killed you. Please, you have to focus on winning this.
Light shoulder ammunition at 50%. AP at 50%. 2 repair kits remaining.
The enemy has taken heavy damage. Keep it up, Raven.
Light shoulder ammunition at 30%. Light shoulder ammunition at 10%.
I don't have the ammo for this, chat.
Raven, get clear.
Right-hand ammunition at 50%. AP at 30%.
I dodged into that? I don't know how you 180'd and hit me there, but okay. It also feels like I can't really turn on a dime. Or rather, I might be able to turn my mech, but I can't turn my camera on a dime. So chat, right as he stuns for big damage, I can't. And here's the reason why. I don't have enough ammo. Like, I don't have enough ammo to get the shield down and play ranged with him. Like, he has infinite ammo, I don't. So, like, that's the issue I'm noticing here, is that I need to, like, land grenade launcher shots.
I've looked into the enemy craft. It's an autonomous PCA craft, Bauteus. You'll have to break its pulse armor to inflict meaningful damage. Armor down. Now's your chance, Raven. I've taken your constant offline for now. That massive dose of coral nearly killed you. Please, you have to focus on winning this.
No, fire the fucking gun! I did not say charge.
The enemy has taken heavy damage. Keep it up, Raven.
Right shoulder ammunition at 50%. AP at 50%. 2 repair kits remaining.
Raven, get clear.
I mean, I'm sorry, that's dumb. Like, the game literally just won't fire the fucking thing. I assumed it was reloading.
remaining. Right-hand ammunition at 50%. ATP at 30%.
Apparently I'm not high enough. I think CAD needs to experiment with more weapons and parts. Chat, I don't have more weapons and parts. Like, I don't know what you're saying. Like, part of my issue here is I only have the sword and the grenade launcher for the left weapon. So it's one or the other. And at that point, the other issue that I'm having here is there's only so much ammunition I have to be able to actually get that shield down while it just sits there constantly regenerating. So I can use the grenade launcher to good effect. I already have been, but one, it's not as punishing enough, and two, it is basically something that I have to prime for when it stops to fire missiles. I can do that, but ultimately the big issue that I'm having is I'm running out of my actual like ammunition, period, end of story. If I run out of ammunition, I can't get that shield down. I don't mind advice, chat. I would rather you give advice than be like, I don't want to give advice. The moment you guys go, I don't want to give advice, you're not helping, right? But, and I'm not saying that everybody has to help or anything like that. Just that, like, I would rather people do it than not. It's my first time ever playing a game like this, so I don't mind the backseating. We'll try out the machine gun. That's the only thing I can think of to change. You'll have to get out of the mission, though. I think that's what everyone's telling me. And I will continue on with this right here real fast.
Reactivating combat mode. I've looked into the enemy craft. It's an autonomous PCA craft, Bauteus. You'll have to break its pulse armor to inflict meaningful damage. Pulse armor now. Now's your chance, Raven. I've taken your comms link offline for now. That massive dose of coral nearly killed you.
Oh, that's what kills. I cannot dodge more than 3 times. Oh, great. My fucking headset just died. So now we're doing the soundless. But that may actually, in a weird way, help. Because hearing all of the, like, beep, 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 beep constantly is actually not a good thing.
Light shoulder ammunition at 50%.
Off to the side. Yeah, the reload on the grenade launcher is just stupid long.
Are intensifying. Raven, get clear.
2 repair kits remaining.
I don't like that I can't, like, iframe under that. I understand there's no iframes in this game, but, like, it basically just means if you see an attack, run away. And I don't think that's a good solution for most issues in a game. Yeah, that's just an absolute non-starter for me.
50%.
before. See, that's the other problem, is like, inevitably I stagger him. What the fuck? When, what the fuck? Huh? What is that? 2 new moves I have never seen. You're getting close, though? Yeah, I mean, honestly, I might have been able to dodge some of that had I been able to hear it. Because the problem with the beeping is usually his cannon shot, and that's not being able to hear that means I have to do it by sight. And I can because there's a little, like, red reticle, but not if he's off the screen. No, I do feel like the machine gun's working better there. I definitely missed some of my grenade shots, and, like, it's so difficult because if you want to use the grenade shot proactively, the cooldown on it is so fucking long that you might miss a better opening.
Main system, reactivating combat mode. I've looked into the enemy craft. It's an autonomous PCA craft, Bauteus. You'll have to break its pulse armor to inflict meaningful damage. Picking up a massive heat signature. Pulse armor down. Now's your chance, Raven. I've taken your comms link offline for now. That massive dose of coral nearly killed you. Please, you have to focus on wins.
I did not mean to charge there, chat. Sometimes I just accidentally click the joystick and it's kind of frustrating.
Light shoulder ammunition at 50%.
My God, dude! I can't even see that shit! Like, fuck off! Weapons have an effective range. Machine guns do better closer or lower shield faster. Okay. Knowing that definitely helps. Like, It's very rough because it is easiest to dodge the missiles at max range, and I still have not figured out how to handle it when you're swiveling around him and then you can't keep track of where the missiles are mentally.
I've looked into the enemy craft. It's an autonomous PCA craft, Bauteus. You'll have to break its pulse armor to inflict meaningful damage. Pulse armor down. Now's your chance, Raven. I've taken your comms link offline from now. That massive dose of coral never killed you. Please, you have to focus on winning this.
AP at 50%.
Picking up a massive heat signature. Evasive action, Raven.
AP at 50%.
Dude, that cannon shot is such bullshit, man.
AP at 50%.
The enemy has taken heavy damage. Keep it up.
Don't worry, so have I, Air.
Repair kits remaining. Light shoulder and light hand ammunition at 50%.
You see, I don't like hearing that I'm at 50% and the dude's health is not.
The waves are intensifying. Raven, get clear.
Right shoulder ammunition at 30%.
Chat, how do I dodge this? Like, it just feels like it perfect tracks. Like, I don't feel like that's an actual solution. So I think I'm going back to the sword, because the sword is the only thing that really deals damage to him. Like, the grenade launcher just does not feel like it's enough bang for its buck with, like, how long it actually takes to reload. Swing left, dodge right, and vice versa. Yeah, which is counterintuitive to Soul's knowledge.
Reactivating combat mode. I've looked into the enemy craft. It's an autonomous PCA craft, Bauteus. You'll have to break its pulse armor to inflict meaningful damage.
Come on, dude! What the fuck?
Picking up a massive pulse armor down. Now's your chance, Raven.
And see, like, there you go. You just cannot punish. He recovers from his stagger stupidly fast.
That massive dose of coral nearly killed you. Please, you have to focus on winning this.
Bro, what the fuck? What, like, huh? I'm dead.
No repair kits remaining. AP at 30%. Right-hand ammunition at 50%. Right shoulder ammunition at 30%.
I don't feel like I actually have the ammo to do this, so I think we will restart. Like, nothing in this feels like it feels like either my weapons are not doing enough damage or I just simply do not have the ammo. So that has to be the case. It has to be one or the other. I don't see how it's anything other than that. Because, like, it just feels like I need to be killing him way faster because I just cannot live long enough. I do not have enough healing. I do not have enough tankiness to my hits. I just, like, I don't know what to buy. That's kind of my issue here. You need more repair kits? Can I even get them? This boss really does gatekeep you like this? I don't feel like it is. Like chat, you guys are saying it's this big hurdle. I'm able to dodge most of his shit. It really just feels like my damage is not there. Like, more than anything. That's really all it is. No, just make them more efficient. If you're talking, so chat, just to get everyone on the same page here, I have done all available arenas. I have already bought all OST things that I can. So no matter what recommendations you have involving this, it will not be a solution. Because I can't undo that as far as I know. So. Yeah, no. I'm just saying so that everybody's on the same page. Because I keep seeing people like recommending certain things, and I'm like, I can't do anything with those OST chips. They're gone. They're done. Not unless you guys know of a way to get more arenas for right now. So back to what weapons you can buy. This: the shotgun, the handgun, the bazooka, the grenade launcher, the laser rifle, the plasma rifle, and the pulse gun. So, I mean, is the pulse gun something that's good against shields? I need anti... Actually, I have no idea how to tell if something's good against shields. Pulse does well versus the shield. Is it gonna be good against, like, the rest of it, though? Like, I also need to be able to punish. Just taking down his shield is not enough. No. Okay, so what do we recommend for punishment? Like, do you guys recommend buying something for the other arm then at that point? There's a better blade, but again, the problem is I can only buy like maybe 2 or 3 things, so I don't want to like, you know. Is that a grenade launcher I see in the store? Yeah, but I've pretty much already resolved myself to the fact that the grenade launcher is not a good weapon for this. It's not that I can't land hits. I can. It's that its damage is probably not enough. What shoulders do you have access to? Hold the thought on the shoulders for right now. Let's focus on the weapons. We already know one of my shoulders is really good for this, so. At no loss? Okay. It's good damage once the shield is down. I disagree, but what shotguns do I have available? The Haldeman, and that's it. I don't know how the bazooka is. Hand weapons, you could take double laser pistol. I liked running that. I don't think double laser pistol will do the damage when the shield is down, though. Unless I'm misunderstanding how laser works. Would take pulse and focus on the sword for damage. I can do that. The Ludlow? I have the Ludlow. That's what we were using. It was the machine gun. It is possible to beat him using the starting weapons layout. I'm sure it is for a god. I am not somebody that has sat here and spent 200 hours playing this game already. So I'm going to say recommendations to that degree are just bad recommendations. You're not taking the player into account, chat. Like again, I feel like I'm doing pretty decent, but you know, I am still human, so like at least the good part I can say is I have learned a lot about dodging him and dealing with his mechanics. So. Oh gosh, they want double Ludlows? I don't feel like that's good. That is so low damage. Just less stubborn about changing loadouts? I mean, I'm pretty stubborn about changing loadouts, but not in a game where I do know, like chat said, like, oh, this is incentivized for you to learn how to change loadouts and stuff. It is what I have heard, is it is very much take the loadout to the mission. So I'm okay with that. I will complain that this game does not do a good enough job of educating you on what does what. I can always hit this and basically go through it, but I would rather just prefer to be told, like, hey, this is good in these situations against this type of thing, right? And I feel like the game has not really told you that. But I'm still not really seeing a recommendation other than double Ludlow, chat, and I don't think that's a good recommendation. I'm sorry. They just give you all these numbers. Yeah, like I think the info is here. It's just they don't really teach you how to process any of them. Probably lack a bit of stagger. I mean, if I hit that, that's strong, but I don't like trying to hit that right now. I don't mind going melee. I actually think that's pretty cool, but I feel like this boss in particular is just going to keep dodging me like an asshole. The shotgun's got decent attack power. The bazooka's the closest. I think we go bazooka, chat. I think we go bazooka. Because it doesn't look like it has a long, like, wind up either. So I feel like we go pulse gun bazooka. And I feel like it gonna do work. How much ammo does bazooka have? I don't know. I think we just sortie as is. We replay the mission. We get to him. We change loadouts and we shit on it.
You'll be going in under cover of darkness. Be ready for anything.
1.0 Bolty killed me like 50 times. I might be near that at this point, but mostly because I just like gave up on so many of the attempts early.
Main system activating combat mode.
Leave no evidence. If anyone sees you, handle it.
Code 1-5. Intruder sighted. It's just one AC. Who are they with? We can look into that later. Engaging.
Oh my god, game. Let me dodge. Thank you.
Requesting backup.
I can't get through to HQ.
The cavalry isn't coming. Wipe them out, 621.
Did I kill this?
Confirmed. Enemy squad destroyed. Move on to the next area.
Where did that AC come from? What happened to the patrol squad?
Code 1-8. All units deploy for combat.
You're exposed to snipers from all quarters. Keep moving or they'll shoot you down.
love when the game just does not dodge you.
2 repair kits remaining.
Code 3-1C, we've taken critical damage.
Updating your marker data. Proceed in the direction indicated. You see that? That's the Watchpoint's control center. The target's inside. Make your way in.
Attacking a watch point. You're incorrigible, Handler
Sleep truly
Walter.
is magical. Oh yeah, it can help.
Is that Sula?
Pitiful dog. I feel sorry for you. I really do. You may have survived a little longer. Only you had a different master.
C1249. Sula. He's an independent mercenary who survived first-gen augmentation. Don't think twice, 621. Kill him before he kills you.
Light shoulder ammunition at 50%.
Where's 619 and 620? Dead? Which ones did I kill, I wonder?
Don't let him bait you. Focus.
Light shoulder ammunition at
Oh, fuck off.
50%. AP at 30%.
Fuck off.
Auto Gen 4 slot. I hear you make fine hounds with the right training. Shame you'll have to die.
Dude,
here.
that cannon. He just punishes with that cannon. Oh my god, stop getting caught on everything.
Light shoulder ammunition at 10%. Light shoulder ammunition at 50%.
Yeah, he's just gonna beat me.
Left shoulder ammunition at 50%. AP at 30%. Light hand ammunition at 50%.
Walter. Stay away
Barely.
from the watch point.
Confirmed. Enemy AC destroyed. Forget about him, 621. You did good today. Back to work. Penetrate the control center and destroy the target.
Boom, easy. Yeah, no, I just like I said, he's just super punishing because he starts paralleling you and lines you up with the cannon. And it's like, okay, cool, I'll just die then.
There. Destroy the device in the center.
Cool guys don't look at explosions, chat.
Main system reactivating combat mode. I looked into the enemy craft. It It's an autonomous PCA craft. Guaranteed. I'm sorry, Raven.
Mission mailed. Okay. This time, it may be for real.
Main system, reactivating combat mode. I've looked into the enemy craft. It's an autonomous PCA craft, Bauteus. You'll have to break its pulse armor to inflict meaningful damage. Picking up a massive heat signature. Evasive action, Raven. Pulse armor down. Now's your chance, Raven. I've taken your comms link offline for now. That massive dose of coral nearly killed you. Please, you have to focus on winning this. The enemy has taken heavy damage. Keep it up, Raven.
Right-hand definition at 50%.
Raven, get clear.
Right shoulder ammunition at AP at 50%. Right hand ammunition at 30%.
Dude.
Right shoulder ammunition at right hand ammunition completed.
How are you supposed to have enough ammo for this shit? Like, that's what I'm trying to figure out right now. Do I just not take shots until he's like fucking vulnerable as shit? Oh, fuck off! You dragged that! Damn it. Oh, I'm dead. Huh? Huh?
Left shoulder ammunition at 30%.
I told you. No, and I'm dead serious on this, chat. I told you. He's not that hard. He really is. Just fucking take the right goddamn weapon. Straight up. So like, and I didn't even have the fucking ammo, and on a additional attempt, I would have been even better. I straight up would have been even better. So
You need rest.
26 more than I needed, exactly.
But first, a warning.
But yeah, that's all it is. That's really all it is. And I still feel like ammo is too fucking low. Or at least, like, I think what this was trying to teach you more than anything was don't spam and time your
It
shots.
was just a glimpse.
Which feels bad because the boss is spamming you the whole time. So it's like it feels almost a counterintuitive thing.
A premonition of the storm of flame that will burn Rubicon.
It's learning how to make builds, yeah. That's why I said, like, the beauty of the bazooka was a good, hey, this gives some damage, but I don't have to get, like, rooted as I set up the big shot, so that I could still move, I could still dodge, and I could still get out of there without having to deal with, whatchamacallit? Mind Alpha. Without having to deal with the missiles coming in after the fact. Because, like, you were sitting duck if you stayed still too long. Of course, you would clip only me saying that, right? Like that was still a learning process. But
directionality. It's headed straight for the central ice field across the Alien Ocean.
The Alien Ocean?
Like a flock of birds or a school of fish, Coral loves company. Which means, somewhere in the ice field, there's a huge mass of coral lying dormant. You said you could hear a strange voice in your head. That's a common side effect of old gen augmentation. Could also be from getting caught in that coral surge. Don't let it bother you.
Don't let it bother you. It's bothering Handler Walter.
The coral explosion completely vaporized northwestern Malleus's Bay Area. And even yet, compared to the fires of Ibis, that explosion was hardly a spark. Raven, I have a favor to ask. Let me remain in contact with you until we reach the coral convergence. I have to see where they're taking us. How this struggle over the coral ends.
Let me guess.
I must, as a Rubiconian.
Let me guess. The coral is actually like life on the planet, and that is what a Rubiconian is sentient coral.
Augmented human C4621 entering standard mode. 2 new messages.
Is it from Handler Walter?
621. I've got some business to attend to.
Okay.
I need to hawk some intel to the corpse and secure a backer for our trip to the ice field. One job for you while I'm out. Rest up. And that's an order.
So Handler Walter doesn't want me to do anything. All right. I feel... Oh.
I see your handler's away on business for now.
Yeah, my parents are out.
About that trip to the ice field, we've received a job from Balaam already.
Is it a,
Let's take a look.
a handy job?
Registration number RB23, call sign Raven. Your records have been updated. E-rank virtual encounters are now available in the arena. We invite you to hone your technique.
Okay. Now, chat. It is 10:59. It is 11 o'clock. We're going to wrap it up here because Handler Walter said so. But again, was that fight a challenge? Yes, because there was shit I didn't understand. The second I understood it, I knew what I needed to do. So it's like, you guys told me, change the loadout. Okay, what loadout is good against this sort of thing? Oh, okay, the bubble machine. All right, what do we do for the other hand? I need something that's gonna punish him. Boom, there you go. I find this nice weapon in the bazooka. So, like I said, it really is just about build the right machine. So, bruh, what? You don't like the fact that I'm listening to Handler Walter? I can't expect Handler Walter to take care of me, chat, if I don't listen to him and obey his orders. But all right, hold on. Let me see who all's on, who all I can give some love to. I have not gotten to go raid Mr. Fino in a hot second, so let's go send some love his way. And I am scheduled to be off tomorrow, chat. I may stream anyways. We'll just see. Again, you guys know the drill. Get on the Discord if you guys want to know whether or not I go live, and I will let you guys know. Sunday we have D&D, and Monday we have the live stream for FGO. So if I don't get to see you guys until then, have a good weekend. But again, thank you guys for watching. Go give Mr. Fino my love, and good night.